So how was your day, boys?
It was good.
Anybody do anything fun, exciting?
No, yard work. Played the drums.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I have no
play the
musical
drums for
talent.
us?
What's that?
You gonna play the drums for us, Ken?
No, they're in the garage. That's a whole other. My garage is separate from my house.
I'll play them. That's all I got. Got it. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm here every Friday night from 6 to 6:02.
Jim, you look a little red. Did you just get done exercising?
No, there was a little sun out there in the last couple of days. I rode my bike in the sun. I'm probably a little toasty.
Killer.
I'm drinking a raspberry flavored iced tea. Maybe that's the red's coming from the raspberry. That would actually be pretty bad raspberry iced tea I was drinking probably if it was if that was happening, but I'm gonna turn blue when I drink blueberry.
Oh, Jim, it's Max from the Boneless Ones.
Hey, what are you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Nothing. I'm trying to get my picture in. But what's funny is the bass player in that old photo, right? I sent you that old photo where I got you in, and start my video. There you go. I got you. I tagged you because he's in that shot from '84 where he's doing like a 1 foot frontside hand plant. He's riding a Jim Gray board, and that's why I said, Jim, this is one of yours. And you went, no, I did that looks like Jim Phillips doing a blah blah blah. And I was like, no, dude, it's one of your boards.
That's right.
Oh, no, sometimes I don't see that. Sometimes I don't see the little things. I'm not that smart.
It's funny. But no, it's funny because I'm all, Jim, it's you. I met you at the Inman party. We played it for Randy's birthday in December. And you were there, I thought.
No, I wasn't there this year. No, I always keep meaning to go up to one of Randy's parties, but.
Or maybe it was a couple of years ago when KT got.
I was up there. I was up there at the Beeble Bowl contest.
Oh well, maybe that's where I met.
Yeah,
sure.
I was
the
definitely there for the Beebs, and I did go to the N-Men party afterwards. I did go to Skateboard.
I did because I live about, I just live about 30 minutes from the Beeble. Anyway,
I love those boys. I love Randy, Kate, and
Jim
Steve
Gray.
Alba.
Yeah, it was killer. That was a killer show. Actually, it was old school punk rock. It was Pat Black's band, my band, and then Fang. It was like we were on Broadway at '84 or something.
Well, wherever we know if Pat Black's going to be there, there's trouble going down. So
yeah, he's like the cockroach in there.
Pat Black's gnarly.
The worst fit.
Like he takes a slam and keeps going.
He does keep going.
Oh, that thing at the Glory Hole where he does the stink bug to face plant is the fucking video is hard to watch. I swear to God.
I don't think I've seen it. Really, stink bug to face plant.
He holds onto the board too long. And so he's all upside down when he's coming into the transition. It's like literally his face is first. It's fucking hard to watch. It's
wow. I don't even know if I want to watch that, but now I'm gonna probably have to.
I said, was that where? And I asked him, was at the end of the day, like when you're getting tired and it's a huge fucking pipe. It's hard to ride. You get tired.
Yeah, no, I've always been told it's on my list.
At the end of the day, he goes, no, it's my first ride, and I was stoned, and I went, yeah, well, there you go. That might have been it right there.
Well, my first question to Pat.
Anyway, where's Fish?
Aren't you stoned?
I'm right here. You don't see me?
No.
Then scroll.
Sure, you're bottom left. I got you. Yeah, cool. Hey, thanks for reminding me.
No worries. Good to see
you.
You
got my sticker pack.
Yes, sir, I did.
Good. Okay, cool. What's going on with you?
The big little family.
Got him right here.
Oh, you don't have to fucking prove it. I believe you.
Hate for the devil.
Yeah.
Skate for the devil. Wow, there you go.
That album will be back in stores May 8th. Beer City Records. From re-released after 35 years. Something.
Wonderful.
Looks like more people are coming in.
Duncan, somewhere he's trying to log in or something. Blackhart said he was good. There's Dave Duncan.
Hey, look, it's Dave Duncan looking upward or looking down upon us. Dave.
Lord Duncan.
Do you have like your microphone on?
Smiling, Dave.
His shit's locking up. Dave, you got to hit the mute button.
Where's Ken?
Hey, Fish, will this expand into more windows as more people come in?
Yeah, if you go into the right top corner, there should be a speaker view. If you click that, then you should go into 5 people right now, all people that are in the chat.
Yeah, I got 4. I got Dave, I got Jim, me, and you.
It'll keep expanding
Sure.
expanding as people join in.
Right, I seen pictures where there's 30 people and it's fucking like the total full screen. So
That will happen.
my
but,
Zooms are just to my.
you need a big computer to do that, I believe.
I don't have a screen, so I just Zoom myself. You know, Fish.
Did Ken make it live? I'm looking on his Facebook. I don't see it. So
He said he was going to. Maybe he hasn't done that yet.
maybe there's Ken. Did you go live with us, Ken?
Oh, you know, I'm trying, but it's saying preparing, you know, for.
Oh, okay. Because I opened up your Facebook and here was going to me see if I could share it or something like that. I don't know how that.
I'm going to stop it and start it again. It's the first time I ever had a problem with that.
Dave, did you enable your microphone while signing in? Because we see you, but we don't hear you. Oh, he just disappeared.
Yeah, he locked up too. His phone was locking up or something was. I'm using a device with a hard drive, so it's got a real processor, so it actually works pretty good. The phone's, you know, a phone doesn't have a real processor in it, so it's not. Anyway.
It's a micro processor.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying. But a computer has megahertz and runs
Well,
at a certain.
I can edit videos on my phone better than I can on my computer and faster.
Well, that's the way they've set up the apps, though. You know what I mean? Because most people's kids like TikTok and shit are going to be doing it on their phones. Whoa, light show, Fish, nice.
Yeah, live on the center stage.
I think that last bong hit's kicking in. What's going on? Whoa. So what's going on with you, Fish? Kick it down.
Just staying safe. Been hiking a lot, walking like 6 miles a day every other day, or biking a little bit, staying away from people.
Up in the hill?
No,
in
I'm
the
right
OC?
near the Santa Ana River Trail, basically about a quarter of a mile from the Santa Ana River Trail that goes through a wetlands area. So it's just a little nature
Cool.
walk. Yeah, and so I just been
The birds
walking.
and stuff?
Yeah, Jeff's
Lots of birds.
passing kind of kicked me into being more active and getting out there, you know. Not that I'm super out of shape, but I am out of shape, getting old. You know how it is. We got to work harder to keep
Well,
stronger.
you're skinny, though. You're skinny. I mean, you're not overweight. So I
Yeah,
mean,
but that doesn't really give me muscle mass, you know. I'm not like Jim Gray, you know.
Shut up. So look at an old folks home. How many fat people do you see in an old folks home? They all die. Okay, so the only people left at the old folks home.
Come on, you're talking about me. Fish, don't you have a mountain bike?
Say again?
You got a mountain bike? Have you been riding?
Yeah, I just ride. It's all flat around here, though, you know. And
Since you got laid off from the gay bar you were stripping at, where has that affected your income? Has that affected your ego? And then has it affected your weight loss? I'm just curious.
Both.
Fucking. Well, at the Inman show, Shroogie rode his bike from Walnut Creek to Sacramento, like
Wow.
with the JFA one years ago, and I was like, he's all at the hotel the next day on a bicycle, and I'm all, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I'm about to ride back to Walnut Creek, and I was like, dude, you're in fucking Sacramento. The fuck are you talking? You know,
It's a nice little
but
ride.
there's that trail through Davis.
It's all downhill from Sac.
Shroogie rides all these. Yeah, well, people used to skate from Berkeley to Santa Cruz, and it's all downhill. I'm like, I guess that's a way you could look at that fucking
Berkeley,
skate.
Santa
Like,
Cruz. How do you get
I
up
was
to
always
fucking
like-
17? How do you get? Where's the downhill? Like
That looks like Blackhart wanting to get in.
You go through Fish's old neighborhood. You go on the coast. Fish will tell you. There's a way. There's a fucking way.
There is.
You
There's a
take
lot
Bart
of trails,
Take-
like
Bart
bike
all the way to
paths,
Daly
walk
City.
paths.
Yeah, yeah. Or fucking ask what's his name from EMB, the SF kid, Fish. What was his name? He just skated. He was doing the support thing. We were skating from San Francisco to LA, and he did it like 3 times. His name.
Drawing a
Come
blank.
to me. He's a sponsored kid. Fucking. Yeah, no, he's doing it for lymphoma or something. Somebody who had lymphoma.
Oh, wow, that's super cool. Pierre used to skate everywhere. I remember one time he skated to the Santa Cruz for a contest.
Pierre.
And he didn't have a backpack or a bag or a duffel bag or nothing. He just, what he was wearing, like he was a cowboy.
It was the street style one.
Maybe, yeah. It was a while
I was
ago.
in it. I broke my foot. I did a booster off that stupid fucking car around the corner. I broke my foot. My board went to rail and I landed on my board. Fucked up. Anyway, sure. So we used to go down there with Cliff Coleman and Chris Pettyjohn during the downhill races when we were kids. Like we'd tag along with those guys.
Nice.
Fucking camp out up around the corner. Yeah, it was good running into all those old school guys at the Inman party, man.
Love Cliff Coleman.
He was my roommate in Berkeley. He was like it was like living with Cliff Coleman. Me and Joel Chavez were living with Cliff Coleman. Cliff Coleman, well, back when I was down in LA with the Zephyr team, and we were like this, little kids. Okay, shit like that, fucking crazy,
And there's Dr. Rick
I was
Blackhart.
skating in the
Morning, boys.
Oh, dude, kick that guy the fuck off here now. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly. Blackhart.
What are you doing, Jimmy?
Just fucking hanging out.
Yeah.
This is Fish's deal today, but they're still making me talk.
Well, why don't you just shut up?
Okay. All right. I'm muting myself right now. See?
No hate.
Jim's muted, and that's not always a good thing, but it's not a bad thing. I think I texted Salba, and he hasn't responded. Hopefully, I got a hold of Caballero and trying to get some people with some instruments.
Yeah.
Salva was killer. Salva came on stage at SkaterCon and did a song with that since we were kids. It was fucking crazy, dude. It was kind of hard going on after a band like that. I was like, okay, fucking killer. Actually, Ron Allen played before us, and fucking basically McRad played after us. It was
I love Ron Allen. I just gotta make that known.
Oh, I knew Ron when Ron moved up to Oakland.
Yeah, Ron's awesome. Emeryville is where he lives, like in the.
Well, no, he lived on Oakland. He lived on Alcatraz.
Oh, when he lives in Emeryville now is what I meant.
Thank you, Ken.
I'm randomly sending out invites to about 1 million people right now, just so you know. So,
Go ahead, invite everybody. Except for one person that turned it, it's C. It starts with a C, and that's all. I'll just leave it there.
Her name starts with a C?
Maybe it's for her. Maybe it's a him, but it starts with a C. Never mind. It's a good thing. We don't like triple dipping people. We want people that are lifers.
You're baffling me right now, Fish. I swear to God, triple dipping. Is that an ice cream cone? What the fuck is that, dude?
Double chocolate dip, yeah. Caramel and then chocolate.
No, that's a Vegas thing, and that costs double. Never mind. Sorry. That was a little joke.
Natalie, welcome.
Natalie Creed, the best!
Here I am.
How the fuck are you?
Hey,
Welcome.
how are you?
I loved your beer drinking festival with Gene the other day.
Gotta stay busy somehow.
It was awesome. You guys fell down a lot and drank a lot of beer. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. I just sent Gene an invite in case she didn't already know about this.
I sent her one.
Okay, good. I sent her another one. I'm randomly looking at every name I see floating around.
Perfect. Yeah, I like that beer shot one you did too, Natalie. There was only one amateur girl. She got it all over her, and everybody else handled it like a pro.
No, she did that on purpose.
Oh, I see. I loved it. I thought that was great. Not enough shooting of beers goes on anymore. I don't think the younger generation can handle it.
We were actually supposed to move to California at the end of this month, but we had to put it on hold because of the virus.
It's a little weird out there right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alan Losey's active now. Well, Alan Losey should be in here.
Los Olvidados.
Was Mo come on?
How do I get the side screen going again?
I know. I only
You're
got
going
2.
sideways.
For
How do you get
text.
multiple?
Don't throw rocks. No.
Oh, is that little baby girl I used to hold when she was a little girl?
Yeah. Indigo, say hi.
Hello. I remember when he
Hey,
was months
Don't
old.
throw rocks. No. So who's playing the instruments?
You are. What do you got?
I have my ukulele here.
Make it
Love
happen.
I'm gonna find it.
There's no
My
real
dog
order.
has fleas.
Most of us have no talent whatsoever, so we're just basically gonna sit here and watch till someone with talent comes on. Blackhart's picking his nose. That's his talent.
I'm not picking my nose.
Don't throw rocks.
I
Okay,
am.
go to your room right now.
Did you figure out how to change your name, Dr. Rick, from Galaxy Tab X?
No, I don't know how to do that.
Maybe go into your settings.
Yeah, I don't fuck around with settings because then I'll fuck something up.
You are old school, aren't you?
Yeah, though, Fish, I got that. I got it to work on my computer.
Great.
I have a problem because I don't have speakers. I have it hooked up through my stereo. So whenever somebody else talks, it echoes. So I just went back to the tablet.
Well, do you, mean.
It's getting sexy. Come on now, like tune that thing up.
Let's see.
Who's joined us? Gary?
I think it's Gary from England. Mr. Werbinski.
Gary, do you hear us?
Yeah. I can't quite work this out. Can you see me?
We can see you.
You're not staring into the camera, though, so we can't see your face. We see your album collection.
Stop looking at your phone and look in this direction.
So, Fish, do you know how to consolidate it? I'm still only seeing 4 people. But on the next page, I see more people. I don't know.
It means the screen's too small.
Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah,
We're just teasing because none of us knows either. We all stumbled on it ourselves. So
Who knows
No, no,
Claudia
okay,
Hogue?
Fish. No, I got you later.
I do.
Oh, perfect. We see more of your face now, Gary.
Yeah, it's coming from my other screen. I think
Claudia.
make it
Hi, Tony.
this
hey,
screen.
Claudia, look at that background. How amazing.
That is from Archer.
Every time I've tried one, they don't work. I get weird. Like
That
they,
TV show,
It does that.
TV show
Here.
Archer.
Yeah.
Neat. Yeah, Tony Marle. Welcome.
What up?
hey, Tonyo, back again.
Hell yeah.
I know. It's like, what the fuck else do you have to do, right?
Nothing.
Whenever you're ready, Natalie, serenade us.
Natalie's gonna start with ukulele. Where's Hillary and her fucking her cello or whatever the hell it is? Cello?
Oh yeah. I'm on a different
Hillary's
group
up.
chat with Hillary.
Who's that? Oh, Natalie.
You're like double teaming the group chats right now, Natalie.
No, they're on this like major like girl group chat.
We have a
Get
East
invited to those.
Coast Stutter Girls one.
If I wear a wig, I come join.
Jim, I bet you would be able to join any group chat that you actually.
You know what? Actually, I gotta say that I've actually been pretty lucky in my life. Like even when I was,
You can pull it.
When I was married, my wife used to allow me to go out on a girls' night, and they didn't let any of the other husbands go. So. I can hang with the girls.
What else we got in here?
Are you ready?
Gary,
Matt?
where are you from,
Where's
Gary?
Where's
I'm from
I'm in Grass
UK.
Valley.
Say again.
Where are you?
The problem I've got at the moment is the video is recording from that camera, and I need it to record from this camera.
Well, again, sounds like a fucking personal problem. Look at the right camera.
I think you go to the bottom and it
Yeah,
says,
Leave me alone.
if you go to the bottom, Gary, I think it says stop video. If you press that arrow up, it'll say video setting. And then you
Pretty
can,
awesome. People are going to review this later. But what happened? They just tried to figure shit out all night.
yeah, Mark Waters.
Guys,
Hello, Marky. What's up, skate punk?
Good to see you, Mark.
nice to be seen.
Where's Avery? I saw him walk in there.
He's doing taekwondo out in the other room,
There you go.
and he came in to complain about the dog being in the way.
You smell, Natalie.
Yeah.
I like that. There you go. Now you fit
There
that.
it is. Pizza.
No pizza.
Are you
You
just
hit
started,
it.
everybody? Are you? You're first up, right?
What?
It's your turn. Start. Natalie. Come on, entertain us.
Oh, am I playing a song?
Yeah, you're gonna play a song.
Oh.
Here's the deal. You can't actually play like as a group because it can only hear one microphone at a time.
Okay.
Two people start playing.
No, that's not true, Jim.
Really? That's
No,
what was
me-
happening last night.
Well,
Yeah, that's
it has to-
definitely what
it has to be controlled.
I like
Yeah. Yeah.
You can keep going.
Hey,
for a while.
Gene's coming on.
Gene could sing.
Yeah, the girls serenade the men this time.
Maybe Gene will sing to us.
Uh,
Classy old broad, what's up? Okay, we all decided that you're going to come on and sing to us.
No.
yes.
No.
Mind if we say you
Most
look like you've been
definitely.
sleeping all day?
No,
It's Las Chicas.
I tried to sleep when I got home, but then I forgot about this. This is more important than sleep.
Yeah, who needs? Well, now
Sleep when we're dead.
For us.
That's right.
Who else here?
Nobody.
Ken Hada.
Hi, Gene.
Jim Gray.
Gene, I'm Mark Waters. Nice to meet you.
I'm Jean. Nice to meet you.
There's Gary from England. And we
Gary
got
from
Max
England.
Fox from Berkeley. He's
Hello.
actually a singer.
I am.
And Gary from England, what's your last name?
My last name is Cruson.
Okay.
You weren't Jerry from England, but thank you.
Gary from England looks familiar.
Werbinski.
Okay.
Oh, Gary. I thought Gary
guys,
was...
I'm just trying to work out how to get the camera on this screen because that screen shouldn't be on.
If you look at the menu for Zoom and you go to view up in the upper menu, or sorry, the window, it'll say move. It'll say move camera or toggle position. It'll have some choices under window.
On it.
All right, I'm going to go pee. Luckily, I'm not on my phone, so I'm not taking you with me. Those of you who are mad right now, listen here.
So Ken, where are you? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Natalie.
No, I'm just kind of strumming in between.
Ken, where do you live?
I'm in California, Brockway, Orange County.
Oh, okay. I'm in Santa Ana. So
Oh, yeah.
How about you,
I'm in Los
Claudia?
Angeles.
Los
Oh my
Angeles.
God, Spidey is at Jim Gray's house.
Shut up. You guys go outside, get off the computer, and don't worry about getting sick. All right?
Oh, that's a Spidey thing to say.
Yeah, that's perfect. Then he disappears instead of playing the guitar for us, which we'd be appreciative for.
Fish said he appreciated you played your guitar.
I bet he would.
Come over for guitar lessons, he said.
Mark knows how to play guitar. Isn't that Mark Waters?
Mark Waters is there, yes.
Yeah, Mark Waters is a musician. Let him bust it out. He's got the.
Hey, Mark, are you going to play for us tonight?
My acoustic guitar is currently in the hands of Gary Davis in another part of the house.
ESD. Tell him I said
grab
hi.
an
I haven't
Alexa
seen him
and
for a
just
while.
start.
How is
I will, Jim.
Good. I missed that guy. I haven't seen him for a couple years.
GSD.
I will pass it on. He's
knowing that you always keep your eyes on him.
yeah, he's been here since this thing started, so he's on the driveway.
Love it.
Here's a fun fact for you.
On the driveway.
Here's a fun fact in Gary Davis's Speed Freaks part, when he holds up the sign and it's all those words on it, my hand is the hand that crushes the sign.
Oh wow, was that in Oceanside?
I'll talk to
Yeah,
my
it was in Oceanside, yes.
royalty for
At
that.
Deerdick's Ramp or something.
All right, Gary, you got it going on. Perfect.
Oh, Gary's looking at us. Holy shit. Live from England. It's Gary Werminski.
You fucking wanker.
Well, now that you're fucking looking at us, say something. You can't just sit there and look dumb.
Why the fuck was this so difficult to do? This shouldn't be so difficult to do.
Because we're old fuckers, and this was created by young fuckers. They don't care about how old fuckers do it.
Took a while, but we got there.
Welcome.
Is anyone enjoying a quarantini?
I have an Arizona raspberry iced tea, Eenie.
Okay.
I'm going
Claudia,
to
where are you?
a beerini.
Beerini, all right. Claudia, where are you?
I'm in West Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Tony's in North Carolina, down there in the bottom.
Hi,
Max,
Tony.
where are you at?
Okay.
Grass Valley, but I'm from Berkeley. Me and Fish know each other from San Francisco, from skating.
I'm sorry.
I'm in Grass Valley, just north of Auburn, by the Beagle Bowl. And
Cool.
I grew up in the East Bay, and I know Fish from skateboarding, and we were at Thrasher a bunch. So, 80s.
I think that's why most
I
of
know
us.
Fish since I was a little kid, though.
Yep.
Well, shit, yeah. Oh, what's our key? What's our? Go ahead.
Max has been involved in skateboarding, printing, music, punk rock music. He
Since the
printed
70s.
tons and tons of shirts for bands and everybody
Yeah,
that he could.
I ended up with a clothing company, a screen printing and embroidery company with 30 employees, so we ended up doing a lot of work.
Awesome.
Cool.
One of those skateboards. Yeah, everybody needed something to do after the 80s, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome.
I guess I'm the luckiest one here because my roommates just brought me dinner. They gave me some.
Do you want to, hey, Fish, can I say something though? Our
Yes,
album, we released an album in 1986. It was featured in Thrasher, it's called Skate for the Devil. And it's being re-released on Beer City Records, which is also a skateboard company in Wisconsin. On May 8th, it comes out. So we're
Mike
stoked.
Beer.
Exactly. Mike is a good guy.
And what band?
It's called the Boneless Ones.
Oh, of course.
Skate Rock Man. Skate Rock Man. You know, 80, and it's exactly what everyone says. We've been playing. We played the Inman thing. We played Skater Comp. People go, the Boneless Ones. Fuck, you guys from the 80s? We're like, yeah, same band. Yeah. You know. Oh. Okay. So yeah, it's fun. We've been playing skateboard events, so it's pretty much our core demographic. You know what I mean? It's pretty fun.
No, I'm very familiar. I actually put out the Faction CD in '93 when that came out. That was on my label. So
yeah, sure. And then that's Mike Beer. You know, he's re-released it.
Right, exactly. I did a 6-year license, and then Mike was willing to do it when I didn't have the time. So
yeah, no, he's a good guy, man. He's not, and he pays you. I mean, he's He runs a real record label. He owns his own distribution company. Skateboard, you know, he's going to do our boards. I ended up doing my boards with Arizona Laminates down in Arizona so we could get them at SkaterCon. They turned out killer. And but he's going to take over our boards. The fucking record label's going to take over our merchandise, which is pretty incredible.
That's rad.
So, but we're going to try to do the basic bowl thing this year. So we'll be down in OC.
Yeah, if that ever happens.
You know. Yeah, no shit. And then there's the desert thing that's happening too. That guy's putting out of that 5-acre thing, and God, it's not San Bernardino. It's
Apple Valley or something.
Something, and that's a Red Bull thing that we're gonna do. So it's pretty fucking pretty interesting to come back, and then the fucking virus hits. I mean, literally, the virus hit. They called the shelter in place 3 days after we got back from SkaterCon. So I was stoked we were able to do that show. So. That was a good event. That guy Adam Richards in Phoenix is all about it, man. You know?
Yeah, he's rad. Yeah.
He was not, I don't think the guy made $1 off that whole fucking event. He paid the bands. You know, I mean, he paid the vendor, or he paid, you know, I don't know. He out of pocket, he got the site, you know.
I think it obviously depends on the quarantine, but we're planning on doing it here. I say we. He's planning on doing it here in LA in October, but it's one of the possibilities where we might do the Skateboarding Hall of Fame event the same day or the night before.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's a conflict.
No,
or it's in the same town.
No, in LA, we would do it in conjunction with SkaterCon LA. Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're supposed to play. That'd be fucking sick.
Oh, you're gonna play the LA one too?
That's what I've heard.
Oh, right. Awesome.
We got invited, so we'll find out. You tell me. I don't know. Maybe I'm talking to one of the guys right now.
No, I don't have anything to do with.
Yeah, you know that.
I just deal with the Hall of Fame. So at this point, it's just a possibility.
Fish, were you at Mofo's party in Oakland?
No, I didn't make it up there, unfortunately.
So I was like a fucking fly on the wall. I was out in front. I was hanging with Dean and fucking Oakland guys, right? And but there was this mad conversation out in front with these guys, with Duncan and I mean a bunch of guys, about the Skateboard Hall of Fame. Fucking blah 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 blah, fucking heated conversation. So yeah, that's I've been hearing about. Was it? Yeah. Fucking, I was just like a fly on the wall standing on the sidewalk going, oh, whoa, fucking, this is getting hot. Oh, yeah. I was talking to Dave about getting back from Japan and eating fucking the plates of sushi and all that shit. That's right. I forgot about that. Well, no, he had posted on Facebook this show up from the Black Flies Tokyo trip. And these guys had fucking stacks of little plates that were like this fucking tall. And it's like, the fuck, how much did that cost in Japan for fucking 75 orders sushi? So it's not cheap. And he said Black Flies paper. Anyway, so I was like, oh, how you do it, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, he was lucky that Black Flies took care of him, sent him out there and stuff.
That's fucking rad. You know, this whole resurgence of 80s skateboarding is blowing my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Fuck, dude. So I'm flying the wall. So we're down in LA. We're rehearsing, right? And so we all go down. We all go to the skate park, and I was fucking, dude, the Venice Park. Oh my god. I mean, fucking talk about fucking flashback. But I mean, hardcore. You know what I mean?
The people that were there.
Yeah, dude, fucking killing it. Just
hey, Max.
Fucking, yeah.
I'm in your living room.
Are you?
Yeah, look.
Natalie, how do you do that again?
Oh shit. All right, let's do it. Let's do this. Come on. And me and
between you.
Oh, that's where you come in right there. Sorry.
How do you do that?
You go to preferences, Fish.
Put the beer a little over. Yeah,
Fish,
exactly.
you go to preferences and then go to virtual background.
There you go. Cluck, 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 cluck. Cake kept it flowing all night long. That was our song on the Thrasher comp. Cake kept it flowing.
How come I don't? Because I don't pay for Zoom. Is our Zoom free?
It's free. It's free.
That's free. I don't have
It's free. You have preferences.
You
Yeah,
just
have to
click on
find
your
it.
image and click the dot 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 where more it says more, and then go to virtual background, and you can choose anything.
Oh shit.
Dot dot dot. What's it say?
She's got help.
Chat, meeting
Boo.
settings, raise hand, disconnect audio. They're my only choices.
No, go to preferences
You
in the
have it.
menu. Up in the top.
Menu up at the top. I don't have to.
Do you have a stop video icon with the little arrow?
Video.
There's
Okay.
an arrow, and in the arrow there is choose virtual background.
Only
No.
host can
No.
share. Oh, that's share. Okay.
No, not share. It's the
How do you
Top
do the
video.
background thing?
Fish, are you on a Mac or a PC?
A PC.
I don't know how to do it on that, but that's probably the same thing that
The geek checked. I don't have any.
Gene, are you on a Mac or a PC? A phone?
Oh, you're in the
I'm on my
phone.
I'm on a phone.
Oh.
I
I'm
don't
on
think
my
you can do
phone
it.
too.
Then Natalie will have to tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. I clicked dot dot dot. I only have 4 choices, and there's no preference or
The
background.
choices on mine are chat, meeting settings, minimize meeting, or virtual background.
I don't have a virtual background.
I want a virtual background.
I want.
And Linderman coming in from Oregon. You gotta unmute yourself.
Music?
Hey.
You're still muted, I think. You're still muted.
Unmute.
Hit your unmute button. Lower left corner of
There
your.
you go.
Now say hello to everyone. Okay, or don't.
Or share.
Now that he's muted.
Well, now you're unmuted, but we still can't. Maybe turn the volume up. Hey, there's Daniel Gesmer. I'm just looking at everybody I see on Facebook and sending him invites saying, come talk to us.
Say hi. Yeah, what's up?
There you go. Hello, Ryan. Let introduce us to your kid.
Yeah, it's my son Emerson. Say hi.
Hi.
Hello, buddy.
Hi.
When he was almost your age, maybe a little older.
Right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's
What the fuck's going on?
Hi, Daniel Gesmer.
Hey, who's that? I'm. Hey, Mark. Nice to see you.
It's been a long time. Nice to see you.
I'm kind of new with Zoom, so I'm catching up fast.
Well, don't worry about it. We don't know. None of us know what we're doing. Mark does a little bit more than us, but and Ken, but.
And Natalie.
I just got the last page. Hey, Gene and Natalie and Daniel and Ryan.
Look, I'm being brought trail mix while I'm here, so I'm.
Daniel, where are you?
I'm in Boulder, Colorado.
All right, very nice. I hear you have some spring days recently.
Well, yeah, that's right. We had like 12 inches of snow in the last couple of days. It's been crazy, pretty much a blizzard.
Wow.
Yeah, we got snow in Tahoe and Mammoth as well before it hit you.
Yeah, we got 2 feet up the hill from me. So
wow.
I live right down the hill from Truckee and the spa and everything. So
one sec, guys. One sec. I'm on the phone, guys.
Well, whose brainchild was this? Jim, was this your idea to kind of?
Actually, Ken started these a few days ago. I did one the other night, and then Fish set this one up. So
okay,
I'm just joining in, and since I'm a big mouth, I freaking talk and heckle people.
Nobody's ever.
Steve Alba get in there. Get Steve Alba's face in here so we can heckle you. All we can see is my fat stomach. So how about raise it up a little bit?
Alba sauce.
Salva's drinking.
Yeah.
And you got to unmute yourself, Salva, if you want to heckle back. Otherwise, you're just going to listen to us heckling you. Hi, Julie. Why don't you stay on? You're cooler than Steve.
Hi, Jules.
Unmute.
Aren't you musicians on stage? You don't know how a microphone works?
Alba.
See how chaotic this is, Daniel?
And then
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, see how chaotic this is? No one knows what the fuck they're doing.
That's right.
Yeah, I was just muted for some reason.
Starts muted.
Yeah.
Hey, Fish, did you invite
Hey,
Simon
Daniel. Who do you skate with in Boulder?
Well, not enough people. Mostly when I do get out on a board, which is pathetically seldom, it's with local downhillers and free riders. Although some of the downhillers here are like tops in the world. So,
Yeah. I only know a few downhillers. Just kind of remember Rick Windor. Rick Longboard Rick.
Rick
LBR.
Widener. Rick Widener.
Well, yeah. I call him LBR.
He's kind of more of a, you think of him more as a bowl pool park skater.
Yeah,
But
that
he-
would be the only like downhiller that I really know. And then I used to know fucking this guy from, I think he moved to Florida. I don't remember his name right now. I grew up in Colorado.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Well,
Salida.
My marketing guy and my right-hand man is Aaron Hampshire. You might have heard of him. He's one of the top in the world when it comes to downhill. I don't even try to keep up with him. Like,
I was asking for Mance Thurston, Chris Sessions, the bowl guys up in Colorado, because I grew up skating with them and yeah.
so hey, Barry,
No, there's that one dude, Chris from Florida, that skated for Chronic. What was that guy's name? You remember that dude?
Can you hear me?
Salba, speak up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Alba's here. What's up?
Crazy. Anyhow, how you guys doing?
Salba.
It's good to see y'all.
You as well.
So our first topic for discussion tonight is brought to us by Natalie's background. And that's
Is the Earth flat?
That's the man on the moon. How many people think that we actually went to the moon?
Wait, you can raise your
I'm gonna
hand.
go with it.
There's
Oh,
a raise hand reaction. Like
I just did a raise hand.
or I mean, yes or
What's that movie called where in the 70s where they debunked it all? They had a movie about that.
Is that a documentary?
Then it must be true.
Was it on Facebook?
Here's the thing about that movie, though. That movie was made in a movie studio.
Of course.
Anyone seen Room 237?
Did anybody see the Apollo launch from fucking Florida?
Well, what'd you say?
Me?
Natalie did.
Did you see? I've seen a launch from the.
No. Like the original 1969 Apollo. Like,
No.
did anybody see that launch? I did.
Television.
I didn't see it. I missed it. Hey,
I
Jim.
mean, but it happened.
Twinkle in anybody's eye.
Oh, look at that, a classic.
I saw the launch, but that doesn't mean they went to the moon.
I saw the launch of
Where did they
SpaceX
go,
to
then?
ISS.
One for Natalie.
Well, I went to school, but that doesn't mean I'm smart.
Where did they go in 1969?
They
When
just shot it into the air,
it just went into the air and then it was gone?
and it kept going until it burnt up into space.
Okay.
I don't think we went to the moon because there was one part where a NASA employee was giving a speech to MIT students, and a very smart female individual asked him about the suits and the buildup of the suit itself. And his answer was that they've never created a suit that could go through the third farthest atmosphere around the Earth.
Huh.
So that kind of leans you towards that we've never been to the moon. Now you cannot find that lecture anywhere online anymore. So they've taken that lecture off where the guy admits that they haven't created a suit yet.
I think you mean the Van Allen radiation belt. In my opinion, the exterior of the rocket ship would take care of that. You don't the actual suits of the astronauts wouldn't need to resist that kind of radiation if the ship itself is properly constructed.
Because the moon has its own gravity and everything like that, an atmosphere to where you wouldn't need it to be as functioning in that aspect.
So to continue with that, my line of questioning is, if the suit can take the atmospheric pressure on the moon, why don't they go to the bottom of the ocean, like the Marianas Trench?
That's way different. That's like 10 atmospheres or something like that.
How do you know what the pressure was on the moon before we got there?
Because it's
How did they
documented.
create the suit? I just myself, I don't think we went to the moon. I think it was a farce. That we just had to beat the Russians mentally to be on the moon before they did.
Well, that might be true, because you do know, like, during the Cold War, that was one of the big things why we were actually like progressive in the war, because we made it to the moon before them. I don't know if you know that, but that was a big part of us winning the Cold War.
I mean, don't get a laugh out of that from anybody.
I'm laughing, man.
Okay, so the moon landing is fake according to Don Fisher. We didn't go to the moon.
According to, but that's just my
So,
theory.
Fish, what are your feelings? Fish, do you think we got a flat Earth too?
No.
Okay.
Give us some more conspiracy theories, Fish. We want to hear.
Conspiracy theory. That's just my theory.
Well, you're from NorCal, so we'll ask, did Fausto railroad the skateboard? Well, we already know the answer to that, so we'll go on from that. So.
I thought we were talking about no politics and stuff like this. That's what my invitation said. No politics, no conspiracy.
Well, no conspiracies follow over into politics.
Let me ask Fish one question. This is Dan. I don't. Do I come up on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So it seems to be rather well documented that President Nixon had a speech prepared to deliver to America and the world in case all of the astronauts died. So if that's the case, if that's true, that doesn't seem to dovetail well with the suggestion that the whole thing was faked.
Nixon was a clever individual.
What about some of the astronauts talking about they've seen aliens and shit? Because some of them actually have come forward and said that.
Yeah, I believe that.
Oh, definitely. We can't be the only ones.
Damn.
So I think that's
How
kind of
about-
weird.
How about, what was it in the past like year? Was it who was it that punched somebody because they said that we didn't go to the moon?
Yeah, it was John Glenn. John Glenn punched some dude.
Glenn punched some dude in the face.
Yeah, because some dude said, "Man, you guys are all bullshit. It's all fake," and he's all
Yeah.
I saw
Punched him
that.
square in the face. Like, you don't do that kind of stuff if it's not real.
Yeah, I don't know.
He thought it was disrespectful. He thought it was super disrespectful. It was, you know.
Yeah, but unless you truly believe something like that, would you, like, what is it, 1969, 30 years, 40 years? Like 40 years from then, punch somebody in the face because they told you you didn't do it? Like, no, unless you truly, like, did it, like, you wouldn't actually punch somebody.
Yeah, I thought about that because I saw him punch. I saw him punch that dude. Like, he was like pretty passionate. He was pissed. Like, he was insulting.
Passion. That's some passion that goes into that.
Okay, think about this too. Think about all the money spent to fucking make it not real.
Yeah, and I mean, we know there's a Hubble telescope and stuff like that. So since then, have we been to the moon? It's probably true, but like back then, it might have been a false or a farce. But now we definitely have been to the moon.
Today, by the way, is something like the whatever anniversary of the Apollo 13 astronauts safely getting back. Was that?
Houston, we have a problem.
Really?
We're out of duct tape.
Yeah, I think the anniversary of that was either today or yesterday.
Was it?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How did you plan that, Fish?
I did. No, I didn't.
It's today that they landed.
Yes.
No.
Hey, I gotta say something, man. Hey, Natalie,
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of crazy that we were all at SkaterCon before all this shit happened?
Yeah, like right before it
That
happened.
was like the last big event that we all kind of got to do before all this shit kind of went crazy. You know what I
I'm
mean?
so bummed I missed it.
Dude, the skating
And
was insane.
I think like a couple days after that, we had a Las Chicas event, and we ended up at Jean's house. And then about a week later, we found out that one of the girls there had COVID.
Oh, is she okay?
She's fine now, but like it was like we're all like, well, are we okay? It was pretty scary.
So, does anybody here know anybody that has this stuff at all yet?
I knew John Grigley had it.
Yeah, I mean that's the only guy I know that kind of had it. I heard some of the Scott Boston family had
and
it.
I talked to him, and he said that shit was the gnarliest thing that he has ever been through in his life. He said that there is nothing that ever compared. Like I talked to him, and he said there's nothing that has ever compared to what he's gone through.
Is that Grigley you're talking about?
Yeah, Grigley. Yeah.
There's a filmer guy that worked in Costa Mesa, named Joe Krolick, that worked for 411 for years and longtime filmer. He had it, and he said the same thing, and it hit him in a different place. He got these cramps on the back of his thighs that he said felt like a 300-pound man just putting their knees straight into the back of his muscles for 3 days straight. And he didn't sleep. He couldn't lie down. He had to stand up to provide relief. Like, terrible.
That's so gnarly.
Yeah. And he had it for 16 days where he was really out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Grigley told me, he said that it was like 13 days or something like that. And he said he didn't leave his bed for 6 days. He didn't eat. He only drank water and went to the bathroom for like 6 days.
Crazy.
But Natalie, I totally agree with you. By the time we got back from Phoenix, I think that was when it was all they started calling shelter in place. Like literally, that was, I couldn't believe it was after SkaterCon they called that.
Because I have to be honest, when we were at SkaterCon, I was shaking people's hands and doing all that stuff, and I mean, I wasn't really freaking on it, but I was definitely cognizant. You know?
With the after party, was fucking at that little bar. I mean, you know, if there was somebody sick in that, we were fucking all sick, you know.
What are you drinking there, Cap?
That Salva, when Salva came on and played that song with Since We Were Kids, I've been playing that video.
Oh, that was really fun, man. Hey, Fish.
Yeah, it's fucking funny. The Boneless Ones, we got stuck between Ron Allen and Mick Rad. It was fucking crazy. But yeah, and after Salva.
That was a fun weekend, man.
I tell you, it was hard to come on after Since We Were Kids with Salva closing out. It was hard to do. So hats off to you, Salva.
Well, thanks. It was just fun. I just like playing. You know,
there's one guy on Facebook, a skater that I saw, who said his mom passed away from it.
Oh, really? That's a bummer.
She was in a nursing home, and he was kind of pissed they didn't really take enough precautions there when they found out that she got it. She died in 5 days.
Yeah, that's super sad, man.
Terrible.
So how you doing, Ken? Good to see you, my man.
Good. How you been?
I'm just kind of, you haven't said nothing but I just got here, so I was thinking we were going to talk skateboarding, not politics. But yeah, it's all good.
This is Fish's party.
Yeah,
We're talking it all.
Yeah, we talk whatever.
Yeah, what's the next topic?
Hi, Lawrence. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, you guys, anybody skateboard?
Good.
What's up, man?
Spank Grip Tapes joined us, and also Steve-O from up north.
Yeah, Steve-O. Killer.
So what's the topic there, Fish?
Today,
Come on.
that'll make you feel better. We've been going to Jeremiah's. I can't stay inside. I'm over it.
I'm getting the Boneyard in Vancouver, Washington. It's my local park. It's got this
cool.
big half cradle. It's pretty fun.
Has any of you guys been surfing at all?
How many people been there, Ryan?
Just me.
A lot of people have been surfing when I do go to the beach, though. A lot of people have been out. And HB's filled right now because all the other beaches north are closed.
Yes, Spidey was surfing today.
I came down to HB, you know.
You surfed at all, Jim?
I haven't, no. It's been working.
Yeah.
On a project. I should go out with Spidey. He surfed with Brad Bowman yesterday.
Yeah, it's awesome. He said he surfed with Joe Mack today. That's so killer.
Yeah, no, I love Joe Mack.
I want to surf so bad.
No, get down there.
Well, Gene and I are skating a ditch.
Hey.
We're going to skate a ditch on Monday.
That's Steve?
Yeah, they are. Did I just get put on the spot? Yeah.
Ryan.
Yo.
What's up, Ryan?
What is going on, dude? You look awesome. You haven't aged a day, dude. Look at you.
So
Yeah,
Natalie,
right.
can you really smell?
Timeless.
Oh,
What's the I smell behind your lip.
Oh.
looks great. Yeah.
I smell pizza.
That's hot.
My virtual background thing doesn't work. Watch. It like
Oh, this is genius.
weird.
Disappearing into the harbor
Maybe
there,
it's,
Jim.
maybe it's because it's
Yeah,
too
your
dark
eyes and your
where you are.
beard.
I
You
think
need
it's
more
because
light.
I think I have a shitty computer.
Cool.
I think you just need light on you.
I think the best background out of us all is Mark. Mark's got the best background.
Yeah, is that a real background, Mark? Or is that...
No, I'm actually working on Hall of Fame quizzes, and this is one of the graphic tests.
Wow,
You like check out the graphic and see who's who.
Mark, did you do all those graphics?
No, these are. I just put them in this grid. They're graphics from mostly the late '80s or mid to late '80s and early '90s.
Yeah, they look really familiar.
See, Alva. Mike V. Corey O'Brien. What else do I see in there?
Jim, the computer just doesn't recognize you as a real person.
You need
that
light.
Ron Chapman down there in the corner.
Oh shit! Nice.
I'm calling bullshit on the light thing because I'll put my fucking virtual background on right now. And I ain't got no light.
Golden Gate. Yeah.
I did.
All this city love. Right.
Mark is in my
Dude,
background.
My virtual background will not work. It gives me half of it because I guess the window makes it the green screen.
No, you don't put green screen. You got to pick an image.
No, you have to say you don't have green screen.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's all done like fucking computer.
Sick.
Recognizes your face and your features.
Good background.
My computer isn't new enough to do that. That's a cool one, Daniel.
He has a cool skater one.
Learning how to do this right now.
Dan learned a new trick. We're in trouble now.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what is Chris Chapman the other day? He put a slideshow on with pictures from my Facebook. I don't know how he did it, so it's kind of annoying because it's my picture flashing behind me because he was doing it to fuck with me, but it was fun.
Hey, do you guys want to see a random picture in here that I have in my little cubby?
Yeah.
Just for fun?
Of course.
Check this out. This was with a, like a polo of me and Rune when I was like 16 years old.
Put it closer.
Yeah, put it right up against the camera. There you go. Who is it?
Oh, that's
Rune.
cool.
Oh, you and Rune. Yeah. Classic.
Trifecta days.
Trifecta up in Oregon, trifecta?
Trifecta.
Yeah, that's the only trifecta.
I miss the trifecta.
I remember trifecta.
Dude, those were fun.
It
was
Corn Fest. Trifecta was some of the best little homemade concerts they ever had. They were super fun.
We should do that again. We should totally do that
Before Choppy stole all the money?
Choppy,
Yeah.
so drunk.
That's right.
Don't
He went to hookers with it.
Choppy was so drunk that whole weekend. Oh my God.
He was eating cocaine and hookers all weekend. Yeah.
Every contest, what are you talking about? Every one of them.
Duncan's in the house.
Thank you for making fun of me, Natalie. I love you too.
Where's Duncan?
We'll give him cash. I don't know. I would.
Jim.
There he is. Is that Duncan?
Double.
Wait, Duncan's in here?
Sick.
Dave?
Double D, connect to your audio.
Take your finger out of your ear. Dave.
Yo.
Take your finger out of your butt.
You guys see my dog?
I miss this motherfucker right here.
I met Duncan at Trifecta years ago.
Your dog looks like he's having fun.
What the hell? What is that?
Steve Brockway.
What the fuck? Natalie, check this out. I have a chronic sticker right here.
Oh wow. Brings me back.
Yeah. I missed that drink.
So Daniel, what's that behind you in your image?
That is an image from the aftermath of the great earthquake in San Francisco in 1906. Was that the year?
Yes.
1906.
It's a
I
top.
wasn't there.
It's a top.
It's a steam engine?
Yeah, that fell over.
Daniel, was it caused by a skateboard? Was a skateboard on the tracks?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe how rad they were getting in 1906 on those really early boards.
Fish, were you there?
Yes, it was terrible. Shook like the world.
Fish was there. He's drunk.
So, Fish, what's the next topic? Come on.
I was just letting it free fall.
I've got a suggestion for a topic. How many of you have been following the Instagram posts of Stacy Peralta?
Oh yeah.
I see a lot of them.
Once, and then to run.
Stacy's post today was awesome. The slalom one, the unweight and weight, that was super sick.
I haven't seen that one yet, but man, you know, he is a fine writer with a great recall of history, great sensitivity to the human experience. I've been sending him a couple of emails now and then, suggesting to him that he write some serious history, like a book-length deal.
Stacy's
And
got some great stuff, for sure.
I think it should be an autobiography.
I kind of get fun for Stacy on one hand because Stacy is a skater.
Yeah.
In my opinion, doesn't get some of the credit some of the other guys did. And in my opinion, okay, here's the thing for me. When I was coming from Pipeline, before I even skated Pipeline, before they even built Pipeline, they had El Pool and Baldy. So all these guys are coming through town. You got Worm coming through town. You got like Waldo Autry. You got like Mike Weed. You got like, I mean, every major player came through town at one point to skate Baldy Pipe and or El Pool at that time frame. You know what I mean? This is like pre-77. This is like 75, 76. Because I was a little kid and there privy to it, seeing it with my own eyes. After Pipeline opened, a lot of these guys who saw us at these things remembered me, and Stacy being one of them. Now, Stacy did a demo at our high school. No, sorry, my junior high school. And I went to Vernon Junior High, and it was the Pepsi team. It was Stacy, Greg Ayers, and Rod Saunders. And so, you know, they did the demo, and they had a little contest, and, you know, I won the contest. And then they had the Coca-Cola, I mean, the Pepsi, and they had the Mountain Dew. So they had the challenge, you know what I mean? And they had the Pepsi challenge shit, too. So that we got to, like, kind of taste all that shit. But after it was all said and done, after school was over, and the demo was over, we got out early that day because of the demo and all that shit. I kind of said, hey, Stacy, you know, you guys want to go skate this pool I know of? And because they kind of met me from El Pool, they go, yeah, okay, we know who you are, man. Yeah, we'll go check out this pool. And so I took them to this pool. Now, I never talked to Stacy about this ever. I always wanted to ask him this. But Rod Saunders, at the last Skater Hall of Fame, comes up to me and says, oh, Salva, man, remember that time you took us to that pool after junior high? I'll never forget that shit. And Rod Saunders totally recalled it, you know what I mean? So Rod remembered. I'm not sure if I never talked to Greg Ayers about it either, but all I'm saying is Stacy was there and I saw that shit and it was sick. So later, when Pipeline opens up and I'm seeing Stacy skate, and when I saw him do like the first kind of lip slide, he did it in the 15-foot bowl. But he didn't do it in the deep end. He did it in the shallow end. And the shallow end kind of like, I mean, you guys all been a Pipeline. So where the shallow end kind of came in through the 15-foot bowl and the shallow end all the way to the ball, yeah. That's where the kind of like that it got steeper there and it had that round lip. And that's where I saw Stacy do the first lip slide. And I'm all, man, wow, that's pretty damn cool, man. And that's awesome. And then he came back a couple weeks later and he had that little lip slide bar thing he had made, right? To kind of get over the lips so he wouldn't hang up. I'm all, what's that? That's pretty interesting, man. That's kind of crazy. And then the thing is, no, I'm not the only guy watching this shit. Like Kurt Kimball was there and a couple other guys. And Kurt Kimball, he was the other guy that got the lip slide thing kind of going. And then Rick Howe from Mixstick made it. And then for me, that's where I'm kind of getting to. Back to the first pipeline contest again. You saw a photo of me. I had that lip slide bar thing on, and I had it at Winchester at Newark also. You know what I mean? So I was super influenced from Stacy because he was one of the first Dogtown guys I actually saw in the old days, and actually was cool with me. You know, if you saw Alba, he was a fucking asshole. Let's face it. You know, he was like, "Fuck you, kid. You're fucking whatever. I'm Tony Alba." And Jay was cool. Mir was kind of like whatever, but they didn't give you any of the props like Stacy did in the beginning. So it was pretty awesome. So to see him in action, and so after I saw Stacy do the lip slide, I kind of learned it, and then I go, man, you know what? I got to take this another step further, and that's when I learned it to hip pipeline. Now here's the other kind of thing that people don't know about. When I shot my first skateboarder interview, all those pictures in the skateboarder interview, I never skated the pipeline pool combi until that day. So that day we skated, and so that edger photo and all that shit, that was just me making my shit up that day. I never even skated the pool prior to that, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know that, which is kind of crazy, but that's kind of how it all went down, you know what I mean?
Well, that front side edger, front side in the square pool, that was the first day you skated the pool.
Yeah, my first
duty.
Yeah. And so I was at that point, I was so like, I got to skate this thing because I was watching them make it all the time, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, now I got to kind of like have a little hand in designing the square and the round part, to be honest with you, you know what I mean? But Art Kent was the designer, and I mean, he was the contractor. So he's the guy that had the plans, you know what I mean? But he didn't actually build it. Wally Holiday built it, and Bigelow built it.
You do it, motherfucker.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy, you know what I mean?
So Steve, did you ever have one of those? I mean, it was like a lapper, but it was the long metal one, right?
I had the metal one at first, like Stacy did, and then Rick Howe made one from Ixtick, and I had that board. I had that on my board at the Newark contest. So when I go to Newark to go skate Newark, I'm doing lip sides, and I could do more with the coping because I have that shit. I'm not lifting up yet like a disaster yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then, and that's when Fausto and Eric walked up to me the first time. And then Olson kind of told him about me, and like, hey, man. And I was riding trackers. We were all riding trackers at that contest, every one of us, you know what I mean? And at that point, I had taken my trackers and put like a little spacer in between and had Dave Dummany made the axles a little longer for me. And Wally just had a photo like on his Instagram or whatever a couple of days ago, was talking about the spacers on his axles, same kind of shit. Same thing, because we wanted a little bit bigger, a longer grind. And to be honest with you, at Pipeline at that point, I didn't have any pool coping yet. This is pre-combi. Combi didn't happen until 79. Remember, so Newark was in 78. So for us to grind a round lip and the Pipeline in the 12-foot bowl, there was like a little square part and a little round lip.
Yeah.
We had a wider trusted grinder, so that's kind of why we started doing it. And then we could also grind a 15-foot bowl, you know. But then, you know, after that, I was kind of thinking when Fausto and then Eric kind of asked me to ride for Indy, I had this fucking crazy setup. You know, I had the lip slide thing on there, and I had my trucks all straight, like, you know, a freak I am about that shit. And so I'm thinking in my mind, I go, well, if you guys can put my board together the way it is now, without fucking my board still rolls straight and I can ride it, I'll try your shit. And so they brought it back to me, and my board rolled straight, and I try their shit. And then at that point, I can kind of do a figure eight carve. I could do like a backside and a frontside carve in a Newark pool. And I couldn't do that on track. I was completely sold right there. Like, dude, I can carve like a motherfucker now. And so I started riding for Indy, that contest.
So you went from tracker X tracks or 6 tracks to Indies. What was Dwayne riding before Indy?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was either riding Bennis or trackers too.
Or
I mean,
lasers?
we all rode lasers too. I mean, I love lasers because lasers had that little point thing, and they weren't flat this way.
Yeah.
So they had a little point you can kind of grind too, and especially in a 15-foot bowl, I was like, yeah, this is sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, like, again, I didn't meet Dwayne yet. I didn't really know him yet, and then it's kind of funny because he was talking about the other day that we didn't really meet till a little bit later. But you know, I had met Olson already, and I had met a couple other guys already, but I didn't meet Dwayne and up until a little bit after I heard of Dwayne. You know what I mean?
Was that the Newark contest that Blackhart rolled in at?
Yes, it was. Yeah, which was insane. You know what I mean? I mean that picture, you know, is like, to me.
That Indy ad?
Yeah, I mean that picture is fucking just all time. You know, just it's a straight like frontal assault, just like diving in. Rah, you know what I mean?
At the
So,
time, I remember seeing it and not like a lot of things, you know, there was
not
no,
believing it.
there's no reference or like no,
Yeah.
No
uh,
video.
yeah, there's nothing to like. It had no basis in reality for me. I didn't get it, you know.
Yeah. And you're right, because, you know, and I'll be the first to attest to this also, that when we were kids, you know, you just seen that photo of you know, George Orton in the air, or Tony in the air, and like how did they get there? And it wasn't until I actually saw Tony at Skatopia one day, like, oh, that's how he gets there. And you saw it in real life. It was a different trip. But up until that point, you just saw this photo, like, what the? It didn't make any sense. Like, what? And then after that, then it had the 3-sequence shot.
Of
And you could
Orton
see a little better.
in the
that's what-
Verde Bowl.
Yeah, George had the like 6-shot it up one too, like, rah, you know what I mean? And so, and that was cool, but like I say, there was nothing like seeing it in real life. And that's the thing between now and then, is you had to see it in real life to actually kind of figure it out, all by trial and error. But today you can slow things down, you can kind of slow-mo it, you can, you know what I mean? And so it's just such a different thing. And plus, think about all the shit we were riding in those days. Skinny boards, shitty foot pads, you know what I mean? It wasn't the same gear we're riding now. It was almost like, I don't know. So that's one thing about the city that was so cool, is everything changed every week.
Yep.
Every month, you know?
Salvo, let me interrupt you for just a second here and ask the whole group a question germane to the whole 70s period. I've been thinking for years and years and years that somebody needs to write a really serious history of skateboarding in the 70s, just covering everything.
So,
but let me ask you guys, everybody here assembled, what journalist do you think is best positioned to do that?
Well, let me start, just because I don't consider myself a journalist, but
or writer.
Well, so my skill and what I did at Transworld was mostly as editing, and this has already been started in the form of an oral history.
Okay, cool.
And the purpose of that is the timeline of key events. And I'm actually my initial goal is from the beginning till 1980, and an oral history. And this started because guys like Dale Smith, Bruce Logan, Brian Logan, you know, Chris Dawson, you know, a lot of those guys that know and hold the secrets to that early history, especially, are, you know, I mean, those are the people that are keeping this right now, and it's not written anywhere. The idea of an oral history is, one, it's a lot easier, and it leaves out, in other words, instead of writing about the 1965 event, the contest, whatever, Jack Murphy or Anaheim, I'm asking the question of 10 or 12 people that were there and painting a picture with their words. There is still some interpretation, but the biggest editorial conceit that an editor in that position can have is who he decides to ask questions of and who he decides to not ask questions of. If that list of people for an oral history is complete, then the story is going to be as complete as it can be. And this is already in the works from the 60s, and I've got, you know, I've reached out to only probably 6 or 8 people who are some prime storytellers. A couple people on this chat will be, you know, on that list at some point, but I'm trying to do the 60s first.
Fantastic. Good to hear.
Anyway, so there are, and you know what? Back in the day, and the Secret History of the Ollie are both some of the best books on skateboarding that have ever come out. And they've come out in this age in the last couple of years where it's hard to sell a book and to get people to read a book these days. And one of the things that I'm talking with people about is that I really want it to be an oral history, but with a video, a video
component
aspect to it that can be put into an electronic book form, because that's, you know, really it should be told for free, but I can't, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of where we are right now, is just kind of in this first stage and creating that timeline.
Good to hear. And thanks for doing all that hard work.
Well, and I think Mickey Vukovic, I know Todd Swank's got some plans for down the road for a book. I mean, I think there's a number of people that are working on stuff. I know Gary Davis is working on another book about street skating, but looking at it from a different perspective, going back to the 60s and what we call street skating, you know, being credited with started in the mid 80s, but really a lot of, you know, doing end overs and stuff up and down curbs and really examining some of that stuff too.
I think, in my personal opinion, as opposed to getting like a journalist to actually write it, you got to kind of look at it from like a rock and roll view, and that's the way I've always kind of looked at it, in the sense where if you look at a rock and roll book, anybody for that matter, you got all these kind of guys talking about stuff. So just say you were talking earlier about Stacy. I mean, he's a great storyteller. So in my opinion, he would have to be included in something like this, where he maybe would write his own take. And then, you know, I mean, all of us are kind of good storytellers in that sense, but if you kind of take it from the skater's view and have them talking to the guy, or have them do it, then you're getting it from first-hand information as opposed to second-hand information. So that's the one thing about me from a journalist kind of bug me. Now, if you're a journalist and you don't skateboard, number one, you're never going to get what we fucking do. Let's just face it. You know what I mean? You have to skateboard in order to fucking kind of translate what we kind of do, I think, on one hand. Now, Mark talking about the back in the day book, what Ozzy did was kind of cool. All he basically did was compile all the stories. And it was fucking hard work in itself, believe me. I know, like, he told me, like, he would call me up and like, dude, man, I got like 150 pages already, and like some, you know, I can't get anybody to write. Like, you wrote my stuff, and, you know, this guy wrote his, Olsen wrote his, but I can't get TA to write his. I can't get this guy to write his. So, I mean, that in itself is just hard to get people to kind of commit to something like that. But once you kind of get them to commit and actually kind of do it, I mean, think about, like, you know, having like Gond in a book, or having like Stacy in a book, like having Jason Jesse in a book, and having all these kind of people that tell this whole story. And there's so many generations where you can kind of do it generationally, or you can kind of do it, you know, like, I'd like to hear what Muska's got to say. I'd like to hear what Costin's got to say, you know, and I'd like to hear some of those guys' got a view, you know, and then there was our view. And then the thing is, now in skateboarding, everybody's kind of friends now, and hey, it's all cool and you're all good and everybody's, you know, that's great. But let's face it, you know, 15 years ago, like, fuck you, old man, you're the fucking old dude, and fuck you, little dude, you got the baggy shorts and little wheels, you know. There was definitely that at one point, where there was like, fucking, you know, and to be honest with you, you know, it's kind of gnarly. We got kind of like, you know, when everybody's kind of making money, then, you know, you get shit canned for like a street skate kind of guy, like, well, fuck that. And but that was then, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of a cool thing to talk about too, on one hand. So, but it's hard to say, you know what I mean? What do you think, Jim?
Well, I agree with what you said. I mean, there is definitely a lot. Everyone's cool now, which is nice. It's rather everybody's become friends. But there was definitely a lot of tension. There was definitely a lot of, I mean, I was telling someone the other day, you know, I had a factory in the 90s. I made boards for so many guys from the 80s who their sponsors that were their sponsors in the 80s wouldn't even fucking give them a skateboard in the 90s because they weren't a street guy. You know what I mean? And they'd come to me and I'd make them a skateboard, you know. It's like, because they were ignored by who later embraced them back and acted like they were always there. But I mean, there was a lot of hypocrisy in the culture that definitely is undocumented, you know.
Yeah. And no, you're right. You're right, Steve. It was.
What's that, Fish?
Sorry, Jim. You're right, Jim. Steve. There was a lot of hate between the factions. You know, the older guys were bummed on the street guys coming in and making all that money and taking the limelight. The younger guys are like, whatever, you old man. You know, learn to ollie. You know, and I saw that a lot in San Francisco with the EMB guys that were the forefront of the new wave of street skaters. And all of them rode transitions pretty much. I mean, Mike and Greg Carroll had a mini ramp in their backyard, you know, and so they could ride transitions, but there was a lot of hate. And now that is quelled a lot. And now everybody embraces everybody a lot more, which I think is really positive. And it's actually a good feeling because respect is given both ways, I think, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. It's come full circle in that sense. Every generation seems to get along with everybody these days.
And you're kind of right about the full circle, but the thing I think more than full circle is you know, like, every generation knows how hard it is to ride these little toys we ride. You know what I mean? Everybody knows, like, it doesn't matter whether you can ollie, whether you can do what I can do, whether you can do what Fish does, whether you can do what you could do, whether you can. I mean, we all have something special to bring this, whatever. Dave's got something special. And that's what's kind of cool about skateboarding to me. And that's why I've always kind of like talked to it about like music, you know what I mean? Like music's always, you can't listen to metal all day. You can't listen to jazz all day. You can't listen to rock and roll all day. You got to kind of, you know, and as you kind of grow up and kind of like, you know, as you grow up, you kind of respect things more. You know, you start taking things for granted when you're younger. You kind of get all like, man, hey, you know, thank you, man. I'm still involved. I can still skate. I still, you know, so there's a lot of that too, I think, you know what I mean? And I think the younger kids kind of get that a lot now too, you know, because some of the older kids are kind of trying to school them. And then you got like Costin, like, dude, don't be like that, you know, and you got like Andrew Reynolds kind of schooling this dude over here. And a lot of those dudes are in there too, you know what I mean? So that's kind of awesome, you know?
Well, I agree. It's one of the coolest things about skateboarding is almost every skater I know can do something that the guy next to him can't do. There's just something weird about it. We all have a different, it's almost nobody I know that can do everything. You know, you could do a trick and be, you know, and then another guy who's way better than you, you know, it's like, I mean, can't do that. And it's about, I think a backside disaster revert once in one of the trifecta contests, and Cab came up to me afterwards and goes like, so gnarly, I've never done one of those, so scared of that trick. And I'm like, dude, I was so stoked because there's like 300 tricks he does that I'll never do, you know what I mean? Like, so you know, and that's just my personal experience. Gon sends me videos all the time. He's been trying a gray slide for 6 years. He's never made one. I fucking love it. So rad every time he sends me a video.
Gon's one of the best dudes out there for sure. I mean, I always get
so see me do something backside I couldn't do, and I do something frontside. I go, fuck, I can't do that. I mean, we all have such a natural, different approach to how our balance is, and you know, I don't know. Just that is a really cool thing about skateboarding.
What do you think, Dave?
You're muted.
You're muted. Can't hear you.
Dave. That'll be once in a while that you'll never get that.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
There you go.
Dave Duncan.
What's up? Hey, what's up, Linderman? Good to see you guys. Hey, I just want to say, man, it's good to hear all you guys' stories. I don't want to interrupt because I love all the Salva stories. Toward the end there, that's all stuff we already know. I just wanted to give you a quick perspective on everything you guys just talked about. Going in the 70s in your neighborhood and getting Skateboarder magazine and going to Carlsbad, the first park, and going to all those parks was a dream come true for any skateboarder. You know, Salva, you're talking about the elf pool and shit like that. So then all those parks, it's a heyday. I got Skateboarder magazine. I mean, that's the best time ever, which is why, you know, the book and all that's cool. But we have the Skateboarder magazines to remember by. But everything closed. Everybody's gone. Where the hell did everybody go? In the backyards. Luckily, Delmar and Upland hung in. I met all you guys, and here we are today. But my point is, I look at things like Facebook and Instagram, and that is our movie. That is like, dude, I'm seeing photos of Brad Bowman and shit, you know, connect with all these dudes. Fucking Jano Mueller or whatever. I just saw some shit. I'm like, fucking rad, you know, whatever. Whatever. So many dudes. And then like they'll got the classics and shit like that. So I'm just stoked. And now there's this fucking virus. We can't even go do anything. You know, how fucking crazy is that we got to do all those fun events, the pool parties, dude, memories. So I'm just thinking back in the 70s when it was gone. In the 80s, I was like, one day we're going to be on a rocking chair on the porch with one or two buddies. And, you know, Grosso, rest in peace, the love stories. Fuck, he told so much history of interviewing Pine with the rock and all different shit going on. So, hey, I'm just thankful to talk to you guys, see you guys. And then we're on our rocking chairs right now where I'd love to go skate with you guys. But anyways, thank God for modern technology that we can just fucking, hey, let's have a little group chat and fucking tell some stories. So I appreciate it.
We're running Jetsons right now, right?
Cheers for Grosso.
Yeah. But hey, you can tell the story. Like I like Mark what you said about the video thing, because it's a video age. You can interview like the Dogtown movie, interview Jay and Shogo and these guys. Hey, what was it like? And actually get the personality versus just a piece of paper like a book. Like you said, nobody wants to read a book. So that's why it's cool to have, you know, Facebook or Instagram or whatever other shit, this kind of shit, you know. Anyways, that's my fucking right on.
It is nice.
It's got to be an oral history, I think. That's the Salva, did you ever read that book, Please Kill Me?
Yes.
Like that.
Awesome book, man.
But so the idea is there's
I'm going back to the rock and roll again, you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm saying. The rock and roll skating is very similar like that. You know?
Love the rock and roll. Love the music thing you said too, Sal, about all different types of music. All different. We grew up freestyling and doing all the street style. We, you know, everything, ditches, fences. It's rad. That's part of skateboarding.
So, like, Please Kill Me, but we're filming. We're filming the interviews. You know.
So I got to say, because you know the medium is this what we're doing now. Let's face it. I mean, Now, if we didn't have this meeting right now, we couldn't. I mean, we're all locked inside, whatever. But we can meet and we can still reach out. I can say hi and we can have our drinks. And this is, to be honest with you, as dumb as this is, it's super awesome at the same time.
Yeah.
So that being said, if this is the future, and hey, I love books too. I still like reading, but a lot of kids don't. My kids don't read. So I agree with you. Like a oral history would be cool, but a book accompaniment would be kind of rad too. They would. You see the picture, you get a little bit of deeper story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I like the fact that you're saying, hey, you can interview these guys, and then what's cool is you can see the footage of them skating. That to me is the best part, because it's one thing to talk about something, but to actually see what they do and see, you know, you capture their style, their soul, so to speak. And that's the one thing about video and pictures and magazines and hey, you know, some of our heroes are dead, you know, and they're gone. Grouse is gone, Shogo's gone, but you know, they still live to these videos and to the magazines and to the pictures
and through the words.
Yeah, so that's pretty fucking awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Daniel, are you writing anything currently?
Well, I'm supposed to write a piece for Grouse for Burnett by Monday, which I haven't done. I made a song for Buddy yesterday. I mean, I've been working on a Grouse song since that happened. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I mean, I love writing. And me, for creative wise, I go through this. It's like, you know, one week I'm like playing guitar, writing a song. One week I like doing my stencils. One week I like doing watercolors. You know, One week I like just drawing. And then, you know, so it just goes back and forth. It just depends. And right now, I'm in the middle of a remodel, so it's really hard to do artwork right now. It's just like, and all this is kind of crazy. I can't really put my mind to think art and free. I'm thinking, you know, we're all a little stressed. I'm getting better with it. But I've been trying to do my thing, you know what I mean? Do my yoga. Me and Jules been working out twice a week. I've been riding my bike twice a week. Just right there. Thank you. And my dog's trying to bite the mailman right now.
6 feet, sir. 6 feet, please.
Yeah, but it is what it is. You know, you just kind of try to stay sane right now. You know what I mean? Dinner time.
You wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what do you think, Steve-O? Let's hear from Steve-O.
Steve-O Brockway!
Fuck. Steve-O,
There you go.
I unmuted you.
What's up?
How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I just finished up the ditch bitch behind me.
Oh, there you go. Cool.
So, Dave,
Is that your house?
Yeah, that's at my little ditch bitch.
Awesome.
You got the masonite put on.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I built shit for a living. No problem.
Sal, but what was your impression of the rock and roll
Later, guys. I'm out of here.
at Newark?
See you later, Tony. Good to meet you.
I thought it was sick when Tim Martin
Yes,
first
Dave,
did that.
everybody.
Later, Tony.
Yeah.
But I don't remember him making it in Newark. I don't remember him making it to Winchester. You know what I mean? I
No,
remember trying
he premiered it at the Newark contest.
Okay, maybe he made it second, but I remember he won one of his runs he bailed on.
Yeah.
He did do it
I
again.
went there.
I gotta say, after I saw him do that, me and Olsen kind of looked at each other like, wow, we gotta make that one up.
Salva.
Let me ask a question here. I'm sorry. Jen, someone's trying to log on. It's either LG or Galaxy. They don't see their picture. So in the beginning, it says to activate what?
Activate camera.
Oh, you've got to activate video and then unmute.
Thank you.
Lower left corner of the screen.
Fish, did you attend the Newark contest?
No, I did not. I couldn't get a ride there. My Marine Corps father said, no way in hell am I bringing you there.
Right. It was pretty close to Pacifica, so I was just wondering. We made it down there, the East crew. Let me ask you something. The Winchester contest, did you make it to that?
Yes, I did, all of them.
Sure. What was that was the big Stevie thing. Yeah. What was your impression of, and this is random, it's a little random, but the doubles contest and the Veriflex team? where the guys were doing the rock and roll in between the legs. And
yeah.
he was doing the foot plant, where he had to lean back. He was doing the foot plant up as Dave Grisham and somebody else. Somebody help me.
I think that
and then the Sims.
They were so far ahead of everybody else in doubles. The Veriflex team, Steve Hirsch, and
the Sims team had Bowman and Lamar. When Bert was, Bowman was fucking huge, and Bert was so small, and that was incredible. That was pretty fucking sick. The Sims double.
Yeah, mostly though the doubles were unplanned and unprepared, in my overall opinion, compared to the Veriflex guys. Those guys had worked on it, and that was bulletproof. Those guys ruled.
Veriflex doubles was just, it was like a circus routine. It was incredible. To this day, it makes. I'm 56. I still think of that doubles routine. You know.
I actually entered the second Winchester
feedback coming from.
Myself and Joe Fong were the only ones from San Francisco that entered it, and unfortunately, I was the very first rider. Richard Armijo, how you doing?
Good, good.
What's happening, brother?
Hopping on.
How's Austin, Texas?
It's good. Good skate park out here. I'm just skating more here than anywhere else.
That's cool.
Hey, Fish.
Yes,
can
sir.
you mute everyone for a minute so we can figure out where that sound's coming from?
Okay, I'll mute everybody right now. Mute. Okay, so that's a background noise from one of the participants then, because it wasn't doing anything when I muted everybody.
Right. Okay.
So there's wind or another stereo going on or something.
How about unmute
me?
Turn off your goddamn TV.
I'm coming to Austin in a couple months, Richard.
Are you?
Yeah, Gentry just got a place out there. His dad passed away. He's got some property. He's gonna build some skate shit.
Nice. Yeah, there's Bobby King and those guys. Hill Country. They got some crazy stuff. They do that King Fest every year. I hooked up with those guys.
Yeah, I heard about that. We'll try and connect that up too.
Yeah, they got that snake run out there, and they got a couple pools, and it's craziness out there.
Right now, we'll have to link up then next couple months.
Yeah, I'm just north of Austin, Round Rock.
I think we're gonna be south of Austin, like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad. You'll be by San Marcos. There's a good skate park there. There.
He said we can build anything with no inspectors. The city doesn't give a shit what you build out there. It's crazy.
No,
to
you
think.
don't even have to have a contractor's license.
Right. Yeah. So whatever, we're gonna have some fun.
Just build a house.
Hey guys, the sound is really loud here. I don't know. I can't keep. Maybe we can try and mute and come in one at a time because I can't keep going like this.
It's perfect for me. I'm good.
I'm just hearing a ton of background noise.
I don't hear it.
Is it coming from Duncan?
No, there's no one in
Duncan.
No, I thought he muted you for a second.
Sounds like someone's in the kitchen.
I think it's Richard's.
Well, in the background. Oh,
If you want to mute me, give me a try. If you want to mute me, if you think it's me.
just kidding.
Mute mine and see.
Try mine. I don't think it's mine though.
No, it's not
Hey,
you.
it's probably Christy and Mia in the background making a bunch of noise.
It's like a telephone.
But I think it was happening before you logged in.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, it was. So Fish, maybe mute that LG Stylo.
Hey, Jim, I have a question for you.
I haven't answered. Don't know if it's the one you want.
Okay. Good. I was thinking about how to make a skateboard mold, because I was like, that'd be cool to make my own skateboards in my garage, and I was thinking about making a concrete one. Would it be feasible to like make a square case, like a square casing as big as a skateboard, and then put like a skateboard in it, and then put another like pancake it on top, like layer it like a cake with another layer of concrete. but not let it dry on top, obviously. Like, how do you freaking make a mold from home?
Well, there's some guys do it on a CNC machine, but there's also but honestly, I never did because we never could get anybody to do them good on a CNC machine. They always did it with weird arcs. And some of the most key things to making a skateboard stiff is creasing parts of the wood so they can't flex. And CNC machines never did that very well. We actually had guys like Sean Mallard, an old downhill racer, grew up, in skateboard factory with his dad working. He would actually hand shape us one like out of Bondo and shit. And then we would cast masters off that once we had one made. Then we'd put that in a box and we'd pour epoxy and walnut shell, crushed up walnuts with epoxy to form, to make, to duplicate mold after mold.
Because it's so hard. Like, is that why you use walnut?
Well, walnut was filler. Walnut shell was cheap filler, and because the epoxy was incredibly expensive. So you wanted to make a set of molds, you were spending $1,000 on epoxy, and the walnut grain is just adding a filler to it, so it expands and takes up space, but lets the epoxy glue together. But say 1/3 of it is filled with just walnut shell to keep the density lower. So you don't use as much epoxy.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Jim, you just said the secret name and actually in Vision's manufacturing history is the Mallard name, who created the Vision wood shop and did all the work on the backside.
Yeah, Mr. Mallard. That was Sean's dad, and Sean grew up there tinkering, so Sean just took naturally to it, and he never really worked for me, but he'd come in anytime we needed something and make a mold or something, and definitely helped out. What was his dad's name?
That was Dave Duncan. Dave, I've muted you and the music, that noise stopped. So.
There's music in my house. I don't know where it came from. Is there noise now?
No noise now. So maybe it was the connection. I'm not sure.
Whatever. Okay, we're good now. Cool.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Is the world going to go back to normality that we knew in the past, or are we all going to change and adapt to this kind of new world?
It'll never be the same, no matter how much we go back, but how much it changes is the mystery, I think.
Yeah. How fast it'll go forward towards our old normal is a question. I mean, we're going to try to get there, but look at the way people they walk by people. They look the other way like they're scared to walk by. It's gonna be weird to see how that comes back. I don't know.
Well, I know that the cities are laying out ordinances for venues where they're reassessing the number of people that can be in any building. The states and cities are. So they're gonna, if a building had a occupancy of 120, they're only gonna let 60 people in now. Or if the restaurant had seating for 45, there's only going to be 22 people in there, something like that. So there's a huge radius around it for all.
And that's going to drive people away from where they are now, I think.
Yeah.
So if your event isn't outdoors, it's going to be strange. So for a while, a couple of years.
So when I'm breaking up with, sorry, Jim, go on.
No, go ahead. It's good.
A couple years?
When I'm breaking up with my future girlfriend at dinner, no one will be able to hear me
Christy.
because we'll be so spread out.
More or less.
Christy, how you doing?
Christy, come say hi to us.
Come say hi.
She's afraid.
We can't hear.
You're on mute, Christy.
You were on mute. Say again.
I said the skateboard market for hard wheels is getting bigger right now.
I know. I need to order some.
That's great. That's good news.
I've been saying that for months.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird time out there right now.
I've been hearing that for months too.
Yeah, we've been getting way more skateboard orders for hard wheels in the past month and a half, 2 months.
Good. How's the factory up and running?
We're getting there. It's taking some time, but I think we finally hit our stride. So we're getting better.
Is there a lot more room to move around?
There's room, but it was hard finding people that could keep up with everything,
Yeah.
But now I think we've hit our stride. Everything's like kind of settling in. But we've been getting a lot of like shortboard market coming in big time, as well as outdoor of certain things.
And when you talk shortboard market, you're talking like 54 millimeter, 56 millimeter, like smaller wheels.
I'm talking hard wheels. Like we haven't made a lot of hard wheels in a while, but right now it's like going crazy.
That's good news.
So I don't know if it's here in America or if it's other countries, but it's definitely starting to take off more than it has in a while. I think.
No, hard goods was booming hard.
I'm gonna leave this group. Sorry. Good to see you guys. Good to meet everybody. You guys have a good
Oh, Ryan, good seeing you, brother. I love you, buddy.
Hey, Kev, thanks for joining in.
Stay safe.
Yeah, they're talking about opening the parks. They're all talking about opening the parks here next week, and that's where our skate parks are at. So we might be on next week.
Where's that, Richard?
Just north of Austin, Central Texas.
Wow.
But I've been skating anyways. They haven't filled our parks up or blocked them up. I've still been skating a couple of days a week until just this last week. I haven't been by.
You know, there's a couple things. One, Spitfire and Santa Cruz, both in Northern California counties where the lockdown is very real, have not been able to sell a lot of, they haven't been able to sell any wheels. 5 weeks ago, they shipped everything off to Reggie's distribution, but, and then Powell put every shop that they sell to on prepay. So a lot of people that buy Bones, OJs, and Spitfires are not able to get them, and that probably is part of what you guys are doing. I mean, what you're seeing.
Yeah. Well, Christy's talking manufacturing, so those are people way ahead of that. You know.
How long's the delivery time though?
What's that?
I mean, if all these other wheel companies are seeing it, then and they're seeing hard wheels, and they're anticipating, right?
It would depend on how many orders they have at the factory for the turnaround time. But also, like Jim's saying, I think he was going to say that, you know, you can't forecast that so quickly, because at the same time, I think the companies are fearful that the shops are going to close and there's going to be less outlets. So
yeah, I can give you statistics that, like earlier, just in conversation with Vans, their sales in their stores for hard goods were up like 50% over the prior year. And this is long before the COVID thing came out. Reggie Barnes' sales were up 50% over the prior year in hard goods. Zumi's sales were up 30 or 40% in hard goods. So
this is January, February, March.
It might have even been earlier than that. They were talking over the prior year. That said, last year the hard goods sales started going up big time. You know, this is all before COVID stuff. So you know, I didn't know why. Now Spitfire and Santa Cruz aren't shipping because they can't keep their warehouses open. Is that why?
Yes, those 5 counties in Northern California were the first ones that did a lockdown.
Yeah, they're full crap. My sister lives up there, so yeah, it's a whole different world up there than it is down here.
Yes.
I mean, we work every day. The sticker company still works. We let the employees go, but my partner's still in there all day printing, and no one's ever even popped in and said, "What do you do?" And nobody really, you know, they're not worried about it.
People aren't on the streets. People aren't on the streets in San Francisco. They aren't leaving their houses. So the kids that work at the warehouse, that warehouse is not open. The Spitfire warehouse.
I can see that. I mean, here it's just a little different. Like I go for bike rides every day. You know, the cops wave at you. The harbor patrol goes by the harbor and says, "How you doing this morning?" Like, it's just most people are kind of voluntarily keeping off themselves. I haven't been bothered by anybody, but there is a lot less traffic out. Lots. I mean, way less. I mean,
yeah.
You go to rush hour and there's 10% of the cars on the road, and but there still is, you know, plenty of people out.
Yeah.
And that being said, the air quality in Los Angeles is fantastic right now.
Incredible.
That's what I hear.
If you're in India right now, you can actually see the mountains in Kashmir for the first time.
I heard that you could see the Nepal mountains and stuff, which you haven't been able to see in as long as people can remember.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying like 20, 30 years.
No, it's pretty crazy how clear it is. One that's not super hazy, like Catalina. A couple of days I've been standing on the beach, and it seriously looks like you'd reach your hand over there and touch the rocks. It was just so crystal clear. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure not going to miss the traffic increase.
Hey, can I ask Richard a question? So you live by Austin, huh?
Yeah, just north.
Have you ever skated a full pipe in Austin?
Not yet. I've only been here a couple months, but I've been hitting a lot of spots.
There's a full pipe in Austin somewhere.
Is that the big underground one, the big L-shaped one that goes down and?
Yeah, it's got an elbow.
Yeah.
But it's just I know Rhino and those guys skated it not too long ago. You know what I mean?
If
So I don't
that's
know where it's at, but
I'll find out. I know Bobby King and those guys. They know everything out here. They'll know where it's at.
yeah, I'd like to see some photos of that because I'd like to come out and visit that thing and come skate some pipes. That'd be super sick, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ditches out here too. Some good ones.
Yeah.
I just say fish. I went and skated that one with
Yeah,
Mandy just last week.
That's awesome that you got to meet up with him. That's good. Good.
Yeah,
news.
that was a good spot. There's like 2 skate parks right by that ditch too, and I have 3 skate parks within 15 minutes of me right here. It's good skating.
So all
out
the
here.
skate parks in Texas are still open?
They had a few of them roped off with some tape, but most of them, they still been open. I still been rolling around.
But how many people are there?
Not many, which is perfect.
It's the big difference. Here, if you have a skate park, you're going to have kids all out of school. They're all going to be overrun with, and there's no way they'll keep away from each other. So I think that's unfortunately here to even.
Yeah, the one thing they do in here is like putting dirt and all that shit in the parks. I mean, I get that too. But now, when they take it all out, they're gonna scrape the cement with
Oh, that's gonna
these
suck.
excavators.
Yeah, Venice was
Dave,
dumping
did you
sand
see,
in their skate park.
Fuck it all up. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, what
Yeah, Jesse Martinez was freaking out yesterday or day before because of the sand and the pools, and he said they didn't cover the drain.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I get it. So, but I mean, the easiest way, in my feel, is just fucking fill with water. It ain't gonna hurt. Now you drain the water out, and it's all good. You know what I mean? But
Right.
they don't think like that. You know what I mean?
So much money spent getting all that equipment out there too.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. If you know, money wise, if you're thinking a budget, water's way cheaper than doing all that shit.
But they all have drains in them, and if those drains are manual,
That's true.
If those drains are just auto flow to the sewer
but here's the
system,
thing.
they're not
All you do is
blockable.
Make a drain cover.
The water pressure stays and keeps it that. So you know,
Yeah, you're right. There's a way to do it, I suppose.
got it. You know, and so that's all I'm
That
saying.
would have to that would require that being built as a pool though, and with all that reinforcement, because you get. Have you ever seen? I mean, I'm telling you, when pools get water around them and they unfloat and they crack out, I'm sure you know this better than I do, and they get tilted. I would be afraid that something like
That's
that would
usually
happen.
getting water underneath them.
No, that
I
won't
know,
happen.
I know.
Because the way they're all built, they have drainage like that. So that won't happen.
I'm talking pools to Steve Alba, so I feel a little.
That happens because of hypostatic valve.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of that stuff the last few days ago.
If you don't undo the hypostatic
Stem
valve,
from any, you know.
that's what happens.
Right. Yeah.
I want to ask Ken some questions. Didn't Ken take the photos of the Blue Angels and shit? Didn't he take those photos of that? Anybody know?
Lincoln Beach Air Show is really rad. I didn't know about it.
But didn't he take photos with those guys? I thought I saw some of that on his Instagram. There he goes. Hey, Ken.
Yeah.
Didn't you take photos of the Blue Angels?
No.
Oh, that wasn't you?
No.
Okay. Then we're getting confused with another guy. Let's just talk some skateboard you took, man, from like Skatopia and stuff.
Yeah, I was rad, huh? Those days.
Yeah. I like seeing your old photos from back in those days. It's super cool.
Thanks.
Did you ever shoot at Carlsbad?
No, I never. The only places I went were Lakewood, Skatopia, and Whittier.
Okay, so you never went to Montebello either, then, huh?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever skate Anaheim Concrete Wave?
No, I never did.
Yeah.
That was my first park.
Yeah, I went there too. The one day I went there, Stacy was there, and Russ Howe was there, and Greg Ayers, and God, who else was there? Roddy Jesse was there. That guy like from Mission Viejo.
Yeah, no, I totally remember. Brewer, he rode Brewer skateboards.
Yeah, he was rad, man. He was all flying around, flipping out and all shit. You know what I mean?
That's killer.
My brother got a picture in our local newspaper in Westminster.
Oh yeah.
Completely random. Not they didn't know, just a kid there, and they took it, and the newspaper came out, and they're like, "Whoa, dude, that's my brother John." You know.
Yeah.
The Pro Bowl, because it was all steep. You know. Yeah, Concrete Wave was rad.
It was definitely fun, but it was like total chaos when you coming through there the first time, and all these people kind of trying to come, just crashing into each other. It was almost like pool party shit. You know what I mean? Back then.
Well, eventually, I mean, the difference, and I always use this as an example, is back then those people, you know, they invested and they needed everyone to come have a good time and want to come back. So they had a start and a finish. Like most of the snake runs, you went down, you had to get out, you couldn't turn around.
Yeah.
You know, we got kind of lost somewhere in the new world when guys started designing stuff basically for their fantasies and not function. They started designing them so they could turn around and come back, and they realized they don't have any capacity anymore. So if a city builds a park, they want 100 kids to skate, but only 5 kids can skate it because they made everything crash into everything else, you know. On some levels it defeats the purpose of what they were trying to do, but it's also different in its very root, because back then it was like, hey, you put your money down. I mean, we wouldn't invest in a skate park if only 5 guys could ride it, you know what I mean? So those guys invested in parks to make them, you know, so that everyone got a ride and got to come home. And you know, now I would say they design skate parks for Wednesday at 10 a.m. when the kids are in school, and then they forget what happens after school. And you know, Saturdays they don't even work, most of them. But
it's crazy because like growing up a Pipeline, I mean, you've seen broken bone after broken bone after broken bone.
That was also those lumpy balls,
kids I carry out of there, man. You know what I mean? It's myself, even myself getting fucked up there. You know, I mean, I fucked
they
myself
were all
up.
gnarly. I mean, think about all those parks from Odyssey indoors, where like half of the runs in all those parks were deadly. I was a Big O local. Like 2/3 of the runs were deadly. You know what I mean? You had half pipes with like 6 feet of vert on a 9-foot wall, and you know, and people coming at them who don't even know what they're doing. And and it was so the concrete.
The thing at Big O was those big over fucking hang things.
Oh, I love those things. I freaking love those things. You know,
those were insane in those days, man. Just grinding on one of those or carving right on top of that right there. It was like, you know, they kind of had this, but they had that little.
The back wall had, and then at the beginning they tapered down. I mean, there was. I spent a lot of time in those things for sure. You know, but at least half that park was almost unrideable. You know, so it was a danger for anybody trying to skate it. But you know, so today we have incredible concrete work. Even most of the average parks that don't even have great design anymore have great concrete work now. You know, I get kind of bummed. Orange County was kind of ahead of the game in skate parks. We got all these early ones: Diamond Bar, Brea, Fullerton, and they're all kind of half-ass shitty parks. And now all the new parks, like San Diego, is 10 years late to the game, and now they've got Linda Vista and all that.
But there's a big reason why, and this is the reason why. This is one thing maybe you're not privy to. Now the reason why is this: all those first generation parks were Purchase Rose parks.
Yeah.
Well, they were low cost bid. No one learned how to do it. No one learned how to bid to the right people.
Well, here's the story, dude. I got this because I worked with Purchase Rose. So here's the deal. Now, Purchase Rose in those days, the only reason they even got to make skate parks, their way in, so to speak, they were landscape designers, architects.
Yeah.
They had their foot in the door with the landscape architects. They go, okay, well, we can do this. And so they did that. And that's why a lot of their parks are just kind of whatever. You know, they don't really go. So when Purchase Rose, when I heard Upham was going to get built by Purchase Rose, I'm like, whoa. And the thing is, at that point, Terry Valles was working for Purchase Rose. He was a designer doing all the CAD work, and he was a friend of mine. So he kind of clued me in, and I kind of knew. And so we kind of like had this little meeting between me and him, and between Terry and me, I talked the city of Upland into letting me design it, and fucking Terry talked them into letting me design it for Purchase Rose.
Yeah,
So
I love Terry. Terry's awesome.
All of Upland, but I designed that run. You know what I mean? So I was like, man, I'm not gonna have this like little shitty Purchase Rose, but if I have something to do with this, it's gonna. And so the coolest thing about Upland was California skate parks at that point had built Fontana, right? And because they didn't know what to do, they called Wally Holiday on our suggestion, and Wally clued him in. And the Fontana job was all Wally showing those guys what to do.
Yeah.
And the Upland job was basically all Wally showing those guys what to do.
Well, I totally got the same thing in Costa Mesa. Purchase Rose got the contract, but me and Jinx and Paul Schmidt, those guys, we stepped in and the city put out the bid so that they didn't get low cost bid, didn't get the bid for the concrete. We had to pre-qualify contractors. So you eliminated people who built bad product, or people, you know, we basically approved who could build skate parks. So it ended up getting poured by California skate parks, and Wally Holiday was there, you know. And
then basically shortly thereafter, Wally quit and did his own thing. But after that, now the cities are starting to realize, hey, you know what? We can't just have some kind of like half-ass dude here. The city is starting to realize, hey, you know, if we're going to build a skate park and spend all this money, let's just go like ask California skate parks, or go ask Dream You know, like
Well, and plus those guys have scattered around. Some of the California skate car crews gets hired by different people. So people who got the knowledge, the training. Spawn Ranch seems to have gotten the most local parks in Southern California lately. And I'm not always a fan of the design. They build a lot of walls with, I call them fall away bowls, where you 50-50 can go over the top, and that kind of ticks me off. But the concrete work's always amazing. You know, the new Anaheim Park at Harbor City, where the concrete work is really good now. You know,
well, you know, the guy doing most of the concrete work for those guys right now is Kyle Gallagher for the most part. Now at the same time, it's all like, you know, they're designing, but they're not building. You know what I mean? Where California would build and design, you know, so to speak, kind of do both. So that's kind of the difference. And even those guys know what you're talking about are subbing out, so to speak. So they're subbing out to California to build something, or subbing out to Kyle to build something. Like, now, did you go to the new park up in Lancaster?
I haven't been there yet.
Lancaster's pretty fucking badass. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not really sure who designed that part per se, but Lance designed the bowl. And Kyle designed made the pool there. I'm not sure if he did all the other work there, but the pool is pretty sick. It really is. You know what I mean?
I've seen the pictures. I definitely want to get out there.
Now, the one thing I don't like about Kyle is he doesn't use forms, where all the other guys use forms. He's more of a free form kind of guy.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
I've ridden a lot of Kyle stuff, and I like most of it. But I have a so different standard for a public skate park versus a backyard. I'll ride the shittiest thing in a backyard and be happy to be there. Someone built it, they let me come play in their backyard, I'm there. But when you build a public skate park, my standards go into, whoa, it's made for the public.
That's my point. Hey, if you're going to build a public skate park, and with all the technology and the knowledge people have nowadays, it should be fucking perfect. It really should.
Well, I agree. Have you ridden Vista?
You know what I mean?
Have you ridden Vista's pool?
Which one's Vista?
Vista built two parks, a street park and a like a bowl park, and the pool they built
like on the same street,
and
but
grind.
separate
And
parts.
I mean, I don't like to put down Grindline because they're hardcore guys, but they usually I usually look, if I'm going to go to a Grindline park, I'm probably going to get hurt because they like change trannies from wall to wall. They'll like, you can't see it, and all of a sudden you got 3 feet of vert on a 4-foot wall where it's unfunctional for about 97% of skaters. A handful of people can ride it, but there's always surprises and kind of dangerous shit.
I haven't been to that one, but you know what? To be honest with you, I like Grindline shit. But
no, and I've usually had fun at most of their stuff, but from a public standpoint, it's kind of sketchy at times. You know, I've been to a lot of stuff that's like, okay, well, I certainly wouldn't have done that for the public, but you know, again, in a backyard, I would have been like, yeah, that's so bitching. Well, and the point was, I was talking about Kyle. We're at Kyle's house where he lives with Shelly. Have you ridden that place in Shelly's backyard?
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, that thing's so fun. I love that. Again, maybe gnarly for a backyard, gnarly for a public skate park build. But like, for instance, my buddy built one called the Trash Bowl out in Fallbrook, and he was insistent on Kyle to build it the way he wanted it rather than have him build it extra gnarly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without forms like that. And it came out really epic. So his concrete work is phenomenal. But I agree. He free forms a lot of stuff, and it's, you know, usually pretty good, but it comes out sometimes kind of gnarly for me.
Yeah. I mean, I do like it. I mean, it ain't for everybody. I mean, because, dude, I ride backyard all the time, so that kind of shit doesn't bother me too much. I kind of get stoked on it. But I'm just saying, if you're going to have a public skate park, it should be the best you can build it.
And it should be built for a variety of people, too. It shouldn't be built only for the best skateboarders on earth.
But, I mean, that's kind of like, that's where I'm going to kind of argue with you slightly. Because on one hand, it's like Field of Dreams. You're going to build it, and they're going to come. You know what I mean? Now, Pier Park is kind of burly. It is. But if you go learn how to skateboard at Pier Park, which some of those guys did, like Sky and some of those guys were living up in that zone and started really skating there and getting rad. I'm just saying, even like Kowalski, he comes from a world where they just started building all that kind of shit, just kind of adapted, and he built his own shit as a backyard. So, I mean, there's two sides to that story. I mean, I agree with you.
I agree, and I guess I partially, because I was in the skateboard business, and I've always been kind of that mentality of skateboarding has to look after its whole being, which includes.
On the other hand, I just think if you build it, it's just going to make you. I mean, just like even like me skating at Upland. I mean, who in the right mind was going to skate Upland in the old days? Really? You know,
I guess my thought is, okay, like let's look at like
we adapted to it. You know what I mean?
How about Peck Park in San Pedro?
It's that place is crazy.
Gnarly as fuck. You know,
the issue with that park is
it may raise 5 really super gnarly kids out of there, but it mostly makes.
Are you talking about the pool?
Getting runs.
Are you talking about the pool there?
Pool's pretty fucked.
Well, the pool's really gnarly, but whatever, it's gnarly. But the whole park is just one big collision course there's no, you certainly don't bring your 5-year-old kid there to learn how to skateboard. You didn't give him anything to learn on. You know, there's no multiple runs. It's all one big super crash course.
But then again, that's just etiquette where you got to teach kids like, dude, you got to
I get it, but it's the capacity though. The park is built in a city where they wanted the whole city's residents to be able to go there and ride skateboards if they want, and they didn't really. They built it for 5% of the population.
But think about San Pedro. You know, you're not thinking about that, dude. That town.
No, I get it. I get but San Pedro's not going away. It's going to be there. Yeah. What's up, Gene?
I feel like the variety is kind of nice.
A little bit of what's going on here too is that, for lack of a better way to put it, California is not spoiled, but I mean there is a different expectation there than there is in a lot of other places. So the North, like I think there's pockets of styles of skate parks that work, and when they move out of those zones, the Northwest has a vibe, a style of park there. Colorado has a vibe, and it's team painted. It's got all the different aspects built a certain way, and whatever. Everybody has these like sort of, and now that all these companies have branched out, the expectations sort of are different in different places, and I do feel like California is a prime area where people are expecting to be able to take their kids to a perfect park and teach their kids how to skate and get somebody to teach them a lesson. And that isn't necessarily the expectation anywhere else.
Okay, well, it's because there's a lot of people here. That's the thing. A lot. You don't build a skate park and only have 5 people there. You know.
And
I feel like it's kind of nice though.
So it's different everywhere, and so.
Duncan. The real difference.
I kind
is,
of like the difference.
Well,
like,
whether it's built for
you
a
end up with a bunch.
municipality capacity.
Sorry.
If the difference is kind of it's built for a municipality capacity, like Peck Park, it is a collision course. But the issue with Peck Park is that the coping is too big. Like if the coping was more grindable, that park would be so amazing, I think, but it's just so hard to get used to if you're not a local.
I heard that one was actually a mistake too, from I think it was Andy or something saying they messed up and fudged that where it stuck out a little more.
A lot of stuff there. That park's very imbalanced. Well, I guess my thing is saying, okay,
really
we're going to
Can I make a point? Fish and everybody, there's a park in Santa Cruz, famous park, probably one of the first, Derby Park. The worst park, you own so unrideable, but somehow those guys in Santa Cruz, Keith Meek, Rob Roskop, adapted to it and ended up riding it and doing some incredible stuff. So you know what? The terrain, if it's too difficult, you're going to end up breaking bones. But at the same time, any terrain a skateboarder can adapt to and learn to ride.
And I get that, but what you guys aren't seeing, what I'm saying is, I'm a guy in the industry who always looked at it from, we need to keep skateboarding healthy, whether it's street skating, vert skating, whatever. Parks, if there's not balance in the way they're thought, if even the people planning them aren't balancing how they are, and they only build one style in one area and only build one style there, I'm certainly not a cookie cutter park guy. I want to always like golf courses, always different, always changing terrain, always different vibes, but also thought so that no matter what style's coming through, there's always going to be something people ride it. Not like, I would never build a purely bowl park myself or a purely street plaza like that. I would always have a variety of a mix of both. But also, it's like saying we're going to build a pool in our city has money for one swimming pool. And we want all the 5-year-olds to be able to learn to come take lessons there. And we want the high school kids to be able to have meets and like that. But we're only going to put a high dive in. So if your kid's 3 and wants to jump in, he can only jump off the high dive. That's what skateboarding does in some cases, saying we're not even giving you something small to even start on. See, my thing's like you need a low dive and a high dive. I want a high dive always. I'm never going to say I don't want gnarly stuff. I can ride gnarly stuff. I just go and see that you take from you want a healthy industry. Skateboarders make money when the industry's healthy, when a lot of skateboards sell, when they can go on tours and trips because lots of skateboards sell. And when you actually limit the number of people in your town that are going to skateboard because you say, hey, 90% of you, fuck off. It's our skate park. We built it just for us. Until you become like a superstar, you can't be here. Yeah, you're going to get a handful of survivors, but most kids are just going to get chased off and not ride skateboards. It's the same as the skateboard industry making boards through most of the 90s and selling a kid a complete at Christmas, which was 7.5 inches wide with trucks mounted straight to the board, little 48 millimeter rock hard wheels. And the only thing those were made for was people that were already amazing at riding a skateboard. You didn't give that to a new kid and have him become good at a skateboard. Probably 80% of those boards were thrown in the garage after a month because this kid didn't have any fun on them because all they could do is try to ollie, but there was no curve, no feel. That's why Penny snuck up on our market, why Sector 9 snuck up on our market, because our cool guys refused to make real stuff for people to have fun on that was considered a skateboard.
Yeah, a rideable skateboard.
Only
Sure.
focus on what's cool, what's cool, what's cool. But that's short-sighted for keeping skateboarding healthy. Because the more skateboarders ride, pros go more places.
Duncan builds some stuff. Let's see what Duncan thinks. I want to hear what Duncan's got to say.
Duncan.
What do you got to say, Duncan?
You got your mic muted.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's all fish. Yo, you there?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Duncan on the mic.
It's not me. It's you guys.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
we unmuted you.
So what's your take on this?
Ridden, so I mean, you know, every kind of skate park you can think of, and I love skateboard. I love skate parks. Shit, we could talk about this for hours. I don't know. What do you want from me right now? I love skateboard.
It's kind of like we're all a hardcore crew. So of course we want variety in our skate parks. We want it gnarly, what we used to be able to ride. But I think Jim's point is when it's built for a municipality, it's got to be like a baseball field. It's got to be beginner level,
but not uniform.
Everybody going, you know, and create bigger ranks in the skateboard industry, which, you know, there's a lot to be said for that. But we are the hardcore crew, and so we do want things a little gnarly. You know, we want pool coping, and, you know, we want what we want. But
if you want to bring back the freestyle area, flat spot.
I think every skate park should have a flat spot for people who don't go sit in the middle of the street course and flip their board around. They'll go off the side.
Don't you remember every park have a freestyle area with little bank walls on the side?
Completely. I wish every skate park had a snake run that had a beginning and an end that forced you to take a fucking fast run and get the fuck out of the way so the next guy could go. Because those things would keep capacity going at the same point. And then you build a gnarly pool in the back area. You build a beginner pool on the other side. I mean, there's, you know.
Yeah, there hasn't been nothing like Colton's snake run built in a long time.
Which, just a sidebar, I've STM, which is the American Society of Testings and Materials, on behalf of skateboarding, which no one would ever know that, when they were trying to standardize stuff. And I sat in that meeting with a group that if they put a standard on something, every city would be forced to build it that way. There were some of the prefab people that were there, and they wanted to make the cities say, this is what a skate park's going to be, so they could prefabricate stuff and go set them in place in cities. Okay, as a skateboarder, I fought that like crazy. You know, so, you know, some people may think because I'm saying this, I have these, like, I want a cookie cutter. The last thing I want is cookie cutter. What I want is to bridge the gap between the core skater who doesn't give a rat's ass about anything but their own experience skateboarding, and then being a guy that also was a skateboarder that made skateboards, that saw what it took to keep skateboarding healthy as far as an industry that we're also in, which means participants and which means athletes making money and so on and so forth. And I'm like, to me, I'm the middle ground trying to look at all that stuff, you know. So I fought the cookie cutter, but I also hate the guys that build stuff for themselves rather than the public. You know what I mean?
Is that all that skate wave stuff?
So broadly, you know.
I got a question. What kind of dog you got there, Gene? You're on mute.
His name is Steven.
She's an Australian mix, they call it. So she's definitely part cattle dog. Now she's blind, so she used to have one blue eye, one brown eye. Now they're both just two foggy eyes.
I saw the cattle dog there. That's what I was asking. I got a cattle dog now. So.
Yeah, they called her an Australian mix. She looks a little cattle dog, a little bit shepherd too. Like, yeah, she's kind of, but she's been a great dog.
Can you point the camera at her real quick? See this again.
Hey, Matilda, come here. There she is.
It's gonna be the highlight of the whole Zoom meeting.
I know. I like it.
Yeah, me girl.
Look at her. Look at the dog.
There she is. That's the puppy. So that's Matilda.
Brad.
But, I was just gonna say too, the other thing with skate parks that I think is a great thing that's happened is sort of the concept some cities are doing with the skate park system. So you don't have this huge regional park with a little bit of everything. You have a spot that has a pool, and you have a spot that has the plaza, and you have a spot that has a flow park, and it's all with, like, Tempe's done it a tiny bit, not in the best.
Portland started it up there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And those are the guys who started Skaters for Public Skate Parks, and you know.
And Colorado, Arvada, Denver area has it down pretty good. You know, they have definitely those little tiny, like, there's just a few things in each spot, but then they have this huge Arvada park, and you know, so there's definitely, I think, cities, and it's also changed how cities are. I don't know, seeing other places. All the Arizona parks are fenced in and locked and gated. Hey, we don't need to do that. So the one in my neighborhood, even though it's a shitty ramp park, it's there's no gate, there's no fence, it's open, and the lights are on till 10, and you know, and that's just how it, you know. So it's any time of day. Once you can see, you can skate it.
I think it depends on the city. Like where I live in Costa Mesa, they lock the park, and they would never not lock it, because then kids would be in there at 2 a.m. every day, and they're just never going to let that happen because they're a very conservative city, and you know.
Yeah, the parks in Northern California have huge fence around them. Gates.
If they have gates around them?
Oh, sure. And locks.
Some
and
do,
they're
not all, like Fremont's.
they're all locked up right now.
But also it depends on how far they are from houses. Usually, if they're not too close to houses, you know, it's not so much a big deal. But if you got neighborhood pretty close, you know, it's actually good for skateboarding that they're not staying there at 1 a.m. if it's next to a neighborhood, because then the skate park ends up being a problem and getting shut down.
That's the park in San Francisco. The Del Sol Park is in a. Yeah, it's gnarly. The Del Sol Park's right in the middle of San Francisco. No gates. No.
Is that the one, Port Charles?
Yeah.
Yeah, that park's pretty gnarly.
And it's a gnarly park anyway, the way they built it. So, goes to say about gnarly
Armijo,
parks.
you're muted.
I am?
Unmute yourself.
I did?
No, Richard Armijo's. There you go.
Yeah, out here, all the parks. The parks are huge out here, and they're in big central parks, the wide open. There's only one I've seen with a fence at all.
But are they pretty far from houses?
Some are actually kind of close, but they're in central parks, like say Huntington Central Park. That's where they have them. They're not in just regular areas like that. Most of them are in big central parks, or in, you know, one downtown House Park. Still no fences, wide open. Everything's pretty wide open here.
That blew me away was West Lynn, Oregon. It's surrounded by like these big mansion houses, and it's so close to them, and it just like always blew me away that they had this skate park right in the middle of this pretty like wealthy neighborhood.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's pretty funny.
I'm gonna go too.
Hey,
So, hey,
Steve Alba, what's the name of your dog?
My dog's name's Abby.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to get going here too.
I'm gonna get out, but nice seeing you guys. When are you gonna do it again, Fish?
Jim, I think is going to do one next week.
We're trying to do it a little earlier in the day so I can get some of the European guys to join in.
We're riding on the coattails of Ken Hada, who's got the actual Zoom account. So
thanks a lot, Ken. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, anytime, Salva.
Nice hanging out with all you guys. Appreciate it.
So join in, and whenever any of you guys see me or Jim or Ken do it, you're more than welcome to join in. And the more the merrier. And you know, it's been a great conversation.
Well, it's good because everybody's just sharing, you know, their thoughts, and I think we all learn from each other. I love hearing everybody's perspective, you know.
All right, okay, well, good hanging out with all you guys. I really appreciate it, man.
Everybody have a good weekend.
Have a good one.
Stay safe.
Go
Hey,
skate.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt too much. I love what you guys were all saying. I wanted to hear the story, so I'll share more next time, whatever. But yeah, right on. You guys, see you next time.
We'll definitely.
Hey, love you guys, man.
Thank you.
Max, thank you for coming, buddy.
All right, let's get
it. I appreciate it.
Armijo, did you ever listen to my podcast with Lance Mountain where he talks about you?
No, I heard about it, but I didn't.
Probably should.
Yeah, I'll catch
you for being you are the king of street skating as it's known today. That's what Lance Mountain says, and Lance Mountain has a lot of respect. So you know.
Yeah, I like it. You know.
I know you gotta love it. You know.
That's
and you know how funny, how long I've known Christy, and I didn't know you were married to Christy. Like, through the last name was familiar. I had no idea that someone said, "Oh, she's married to Richard Armijo." Well, no shit. No wonder she's Christy Armijo then.
Yeah, go figure, right?
Go figure. You were sleeping with a girl I knew. I didn't even know it. How's that?
You know.
Bye, guys.
Later, Jim.
All right. So give her a big hug for us, by the way.
Oh yeah. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we're
girls.
signing out. Ken, thank you again.
Okay.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks,
Good to see you
everybody.
guys.
Later, Max.
See ya.
Say hi
Thanks,
to
everybody.
Johnny and Mia.
Thanks, Ken.
All right.
Welcome.
Later. Thanks, Fish.
Take care.
Know how to freaking there we go.
Bye, G.
Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. I'm gonna watch Netflix now. It's your account.
you
I
still
still
get my
thank you for that.
Yes, you do, don't you? Every now and then I log in and go, somebody's on. And I'm like, my mom? No. And I go, it's Fish. It's
Yeah.
Fish. Anyway.
Right now I'm using it a lot because I moved into a new spot.
But I got all kinds of shit. So no, that's funny. That's funny. I'm a Fish. I think of it. I go, oh, Fish. So
Yeah,
don't worry about it.
Right
All
on.
see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks, Ken, again.
Sure, dude. You have fun?
Yeah, it worked out okay. You know, I thought it would be a few more people, but that's okay. I think you're right. I think people are scared of Zoom. It's also Friday night dinner time, you know, so
I'm trying to get the fuck out.
it is what it is, you know. But it was good, you know. Salva's stories were wonderful, you know, and you know, it was great.
Yeah, I like Salvo was kind of on tonight. He was sort of captivating.
Yeah, no, he did gave a lot of input.